shines so bright. She's a queen with every scene, in the morning or the night. Recipes and good vibes flow, every video a gem. Her confidence, it grows and grows. We're inspired like her friends. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong. With every like and every share, we feel her energy. No storm too strong she can't bear. She's setting us all free. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Recipes and good vibes flow, every video a gem. Her confidence, it grows and grows. We're inspired like her friends. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong. Every share, we feel her energy. No storm too strong she can't bear. She's setting us all free. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong.
Petals got power, Florabella stands tall. Every drip, every drop, watch the haters fall. Channel sharp as thorns, ain't taking no mess. Scroll through her feet, feel that queen's finesse. Vines tangle tight, but Flora breaks free. Roots so deep, can't mess with her tree. From the mud she rises, roses from the dirt. Every comment section she lays down hurt. Flora's anthem, blooming under pressure. Resilient, resolving, no lesser. Florabella's reign strong and relentless. Beauty in battle, queen sure defenseless. From the garden green to the concrete wall, Florabella, unstoppable nature's child. Leaves whisper secrets, she's the loudest shout. From the channel buzzing, she never backs out. Seed of strength, through seasons she grows. In the face of doubt, her spirit glows. Cameras ain't a limit, she branches out. Thorns in her crown, she wears it no doubt. Flora's anthem, blooming under pressure. Resilient, resolving, no lesser. Florabella's reign strong and relentless. Beauty in battle, queen sure defenseless. Flora's anthem, blooming under pressure. Resilient, resolving, no lesser. Florabella's reign strong and relentless. Beauty in battle, queen sure defenseless.
Okay, what's going on, everybody? What is going on? I know I scheduled this sort of last minute, but I was thinking about doing this combo. And I'm also going to do like a similar stream like this. Oops, sorry, let me take this banner off so you guys can see me and my guest. All right, I'm in the building with, he named himself Q Diddy, and it's probably bad. Probably bad timing to be calling yourself Diddy. But that's all right. You can be Q Diddy here tonight. All right, so we're going to be doing a topic conversation that's going to be based off of a few different things. Oh, thank you so much, Josh, for the Cash App. I appreciate you. You are loved. Before we even get started, thank you so much. Hey, DB, what's going on, boo? You want to say anything, Quentin? You can put it back to Q.
I'm honored to be up here in Florida. It's a long way from her telling me I had a BBL.
Oh, that is, the fact that you still remember that is crazy. But hopefully you guys are excited for the show. I am. I think it's going to be a good one. But it's going to be like a topic show. All right. We're going to be talking about Scarred Beauty said you better behave. And she's seen you doing some things. So make sure that you're behaving here tonight. He's going to be on his best behavior, I think. But we're going to be having some dicey conversations. So don't feel like you got to hold back either. Okay. We're going to really get into the era of Kevin Samuels. You guys know. The thumbnail is talking about the illusory high value male. So we're going to watch a few videos just to introduce the whole subject matter. I don't want anyone to think that I'm going to be taking Kevin Samuels' words and flipping it. Like, we're going to use everything that he said and he's done online to talk about how he and other large content creators have ushered in an era of probably the most delusional men in my generation. In general, but my generation has some of the most, the most delusional men, my generation and a little bit younger and just a little bit older too. There's like this cloud. So we're going to start with the actual content and then we're going to get into some of the backstory on Kevin Samuels, because I do think if you're going to be a talking head for relationships and, manhood and all that, you should probably exemplify the highest level of it. So do you have any thoughts so far, Quentin?
There will be no Kevin Samuel slander this afternoon.
Okay, see, that's why I invited you, okay? Because I knew you would have some dicey thoughts on this. And we're going to try and be fair and balanced, but we're also going to talk about, what he really did. So, all right. Yes, Joshua said this should be good. I think it will be. I don't like to just have conversations with people who agree with everything I say. So I thought, it would be good to do this one and then also do one with my friend Sin. So we're going to do both. We're going to have the gender conversation with Quentin, who named himself Q Diddy before I reminded him that wasn't the best name for this era. And we're also going to do one with Zenobia. So if you guys want to come back for that, please make sure that you do. Scar said you're already misbehaving. All right, we're going to start with the first video. And like I said, feel free to stop me if you want me to, speak on a particular part. If you want to speak on a particular part, have no fear about doing that. I think that to agree with Kevin Samuels just makes you a crazy person. Scar Beauty, I tend to feel the same way, but I want to hear people out, because I really want to understand the logic between thinking what he said sounded good. That's sort of where I'm at. I'm not hating people for their opinions on Kevin Samuels, but I'm definitely judging you, right? Definitely judging you, but it's all right. We're gonna have good dialogue. All right, so let's get into the first video. And this is Kevin Samuels polished, his best foot forward. Okay, so we're going to start with this video where he actually discusses what a high value man is. Now, the term he's going to say he didn't steal, he didn't created it. He actually took it from somebody else. But I do think that he transformed high value man to have a negative connotation. Before it was just a description of a type of male. Whereas when Kevin used that phrase or that, idea of a high value male, I think he was weaponizing it against women. What do you think?
I don't. I think he was talking to a small subset of men, and then the opposite decided that, hey, that's me too, type of thing. I think he was talking to a really small portion of the men.
Okay. And when you say a small portion of the men, you say that he was more picky about
I'll be blunt. It's like broke dudes start thinking they was high value after listening to Kevin. And I think they totally took what he was saying out of context of it. Like, I think most high value men, what sets them aside is their morals, not
Right.
the other things that people like to talk about.
So you're saying that the Dusties focus on him for the wrong reasons? I'm just asking. I want
Yeah,
to clarify.
for lack of better words, the Dusties. Yes, ma'am.
DB says, I don't take anyone that praises kitten heels seriously. All right, let's get into it because I really want you guys to hear, the outside packaging, and then we'll get into the meat of the conversation, which is where it's going to get dicey. All right.
High value man. Glad you asked. Let's define it. Welcome back. For those of you who don't know, my name is Kevin Samuels. I'm a professional men's and corporate image consultant. My job is to make sure my clients look good, smell great, and are the best version of themselves each and every day. But who are we kidding? The reason you're here right now is because the term high value man seems to be everywhere. Full disclosure, I didn't create the term, guys. High value man has been with us for a long time. I have just put my own unique spin on it and kind of popularized it, and it has kind of gone viral. But here's the thing. So many people are talking about high value this, high value that. And many times they're actually talking about me and saying as though, well, Kevin said this or Kevin said that. And many people are getting it 100% wrong. So in an attempt to make sense.
And I think it's interesting that he addresses it like people are saying it wrong. But that's what I mean when I say he made the term high value negative, right? He introduced an element to it that became weaponized against women. All right, so I'm going to let it build a little bit because he is going to try and break it down and, clean it up and everything like that. But let's continue.
Sense of all this, I want to give you guys the simple 6 basic principles that I define as being high value. Now, again, you don't have to agree with what I'm saying, but this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying a high value man. So your mileage may vary, your opinion is your opinion, but when I'm talking about it, this is what I'm talking about. So let's get it started. First of all, let's go over some basic definitions. High, great, greater than normal in quantity, size, or intensity. Value, the regard of something held to deserve, the importance, worth, or usefulness of something. And man, an adult human male. So when you put all that together, what do you have? An adult human male that's greater than normal importance or usefulness to what? The group.
So hopefully you guys understood that mush mouthery there at the end. But he said a man who's useful, right? And he's pretty much reading a dictionary definition of what useful is, right? But I think this is where the manipulation comes in. Because if we're talking about relationships, right? Why are we breaking men down to their usefulness and talking about money and things? Like, why are we breaking them down like that? I think he had the right idea in talking about high value man, but I think somewhat in his definition, he inserts this idea that the usefulness of the man means that he can do whatever he wants, right? Because he's high value, he can get whoever he wants, he can do whatever he wants. Now, I am going to let him get into it, but his language just bothers me so much. Do you have any thoughts, Quentin, so far?
I think you read a lot into what he just said.
I feel like don't you think there's a lot of hidden messaging in how he talks about it, though?
If we're speaking about this clip only, no, because I didn't get the sentiment that just because you're high value, you can do what you want. I didn't get any of that from what he just said.
Okay, I will try to remove some of my bias. Let's continue the video, okay? You can tell me if you want me to stop the video at any point.
Okay, no problem.
Basic economic principle states that the value of something is what a market is willing to pay for it. The value is determined by what? The market. And when we're talking about individuals, the market is other people, men or women. So a high value man is completely determined by the market. Case in point, you can have a vehicle, a home, anything in your possession. You can hold it dear. It could be supremely important to you. But when you put it on the market decides. And there's an upper limit and a lower limit. It doesn't really matter if you think the low is too low or the high is not high enough. That's what the market is willing to pay for it. And that is its overall value. That has been with us forever. So when we start talking about that, we're dealing with people. It really throws people off because it seems so cold, so calculated. But like it or not, that's the way the world is. So let's get into this whole high value man thing. Number one, in order to be a high value,
Now, would I be reading into it, right, to say that when he says that the world is cold and calculated, that he's making relationships into something rigid and negative?
I don't think that he's speaking on the negativity of it, but it's just I think it's like the cold hard fact of what relationships are in today's day and age. I don't think like the whole traditional thing is a thing anymore, and they're more like transactional instead of all the lovey-dovey, I love you, family. I think we're getting away from that, and that's probably what he's speaking to.
Okay. I didn't see it that way. I thought he was just saying like it's a dog eat dog world, right? Meaning you either qualify for a high value man or you don't. You either are a high value man or you aren't, right? Like that, it's a cold world. There's no that's what it gets giving black and white to me, right?
I think you're taking all of what you know of his teaching and throwing it into like what he's saying right now.
I don't think so, because if you say when he acknowledges that what he says sounds cold and calculated, right? He's pretty much saying, I know that what I'm saying isn't it's not a flexible enough argument for relationships. Relationships are not cold and rigid, right? They require a lot of compromise, a lot of warmth from both people. For you to talk about a relationship dynamic as being cold and calculate, you know what I'm saying? Like this is a cold world that we're living in. I think that he's already saying like, hey, you either qualify or you don't. You either make the cut or you don't. It's literally cutthroat, right? That's how relationships sometimes can be. Women are competing for men, men are competing to get the youngest, most beautiful, fertile, whatever the case may be. I think when you describe relationships as cold and calculated, then you know that there's an imbalance in something that you're saying.
But I think that he's talking about how these high value, like just not in your relationships, like he's talking about the high earners, productive. I don't really have time for the rest of this nonsense, guys. Not your normal Joe Blow. You got to compromise. He's talking about the highest of the high of what all these women supposedly want. Is what he's
but you acknowledge that the people who use the verbiage from his teachings the most are dusty, broke men, right?
I didn't say the most of them, but yes, there's a.
Did I just get you? I think I just got you. So he knows it's a bunch of broke, dusty, illiterate, can't qualify for anything male.
I think we need to calm down on the adjectives. They're dusty. We leave it at that.
Okay.
And there's a lot of people that he wasn't talking to that listening to him, type of thing, as it pertains to what kind of man you are.
Okay. And so I think if he knows that, don't you think it's kind of purposeful when you put out these extreme messagings, especially when you say it's a cold world, right? So you're already talking about men who aren't even qualified to classify as high value men. And now you're telling them that it's cutthroat, right? These men they're dicing through women. They really feel like they can break down women into categories of worthiness. You don't think that he's kind of selling a delusion here?
No, I don't. I think this is just like in the content where like you see a person and it's kind of like a chew the meat, spit out or chew the bone, spit out the meat type of thing. Like he's not talking to everybody. I feel like some is kind of content, some is not, but I don't know. He's not for everybody.
I'm gonna let him say some more, because I think you can say that early on in the conversation. But if you and I and he knows that his audience is not a bunch of high value, high earning men, then why would you continue to sell this illusion? Right? When you go in your analytics, you know who watches you, right? You know what your audience is. So if he's looking at his analytics, he knows it's a bunch of dusty, broke, low value men who are mostly watching him, right? Who don't even wash their butts, because he talked about that all the time, how they didn't clean their buttholes properly and all this. If he knew all of that, he was selling a delusion, right? False hope.
It's not a delusion. It's not for everybody. Like
Oh,
I understand what you mean. He can see his analytics, but it's not, I don't know what they look like, so I can't confirm or deny the people that he was talking to or who was watching by and large. But I wouldn't say he was selling. I just think he's very a matter of fact, and it is what it is type thing. But no,
okay.
no, I think it wasn't for everybody. For some people, and no, I don't think that your sentiment is correct, Flora.
But aren't exclusive things hard to come by? So if if his audience was really these exclusive high value men, why did he put it behind a paywall that only rich men could reach, right? You're giving this to the
I'm
most low level bum nigga on Crenshaw, right?
Dang, nigga.
I'm
Um,
sorry. Just to
I'm not
be
gonna let
honest.
you separate my blue collar everyday 9 to 5 guys. I'm included in the bunch, but I think he was more speaking to like women called his show, and they wouldn't say like the question and his line of questioning led him to believe what kind of men that they wanted, and it so happened to be everything that he's talking about.
Okay.
I think he let the women calling his show kind of like lead him to where he was going. Because I think actually women are the most people who watch the show. I don't think it was the Dusty men. I think just him talking, if I remember correctly.
I mean, again, we would probably have to look at his analytics to see if it was mostly women. But I truly think he knew damn well, like, Dusty's support more and they watch more. So I know his analytics weren't just a bunch of black women or a bunch of women. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know that he was talking, and he knows that he was talking to a large group of Dusty males. So, do you think it was right of him to be selling this narrative to the lowest of the low of men?
Yes. I don't think there was anything wrong with what he said. If you misinterpreted it or it didn't pertain to you and you tried to introduce it into your life, then that's on you. Nope.
Well, you know
I
what?
don't.
Because okay, so I'll give you a leg, right? Pro what says high value is based on your morals, values, and standards, also principles and boundaries. If you make a lot of money on top of it, it's a bonus. Class dismissed. So he's kind of saying the same thing you are, which is it's not about whether or not you're rich or poor. It's about your value system, right? How do you carry yourself? How do you treat others? What value do you bring to a woman or a man or whoever's life? So I think there's some room for that part of the conversation, but we're gonna have to see if he knows. I just feel like if he knows that he's talking to dusty males, why would you get online and denigrate regular high earning women? Because there were women that made six figures that he would say things like that to and be like, you don't qualify for a high value man, right?
I think he saw the Delulu in these women, and he was trying to level set them at exactly what they were doing. Like if you ask a woman how much you want your man to weigh, she won't say XXX over 6 figures. She won't say that, but after you ask her questions, it will leave you to believe that that's what he has to make in order to maintain whatever lifestyle she wants. Like talking to a chick and she's like, I want 3 kids. Like, ain't no 50K nigga can afford 3 kids. I guess you can, but you're gonna struggle, type of thing.
Well, it really depends on where you live, right? Because see, this is where we get tricky because you're trying to put a financial number on it, right? Now you're trying to say if he makes 50K, he can't be high value, he can't take care of all them kids.
Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I according to his definition, no, you're not high value if you make 50K. Because there was like a list. It was like high earner, useful to the group, resources, make this amount of money for this amount of years. So no, according to his definition, no, 50K didn't make the cut.
According to his definition. Okay.
Yes.
So and don't you don't see a problem with that? Like, first of all, I think it excludes. Here's my problem, right? It takes away men who are hardworking, who are loving, caring, protecting, right? It takes them away from the conversation. And you either are high value because of your money, or you're watching and you know you don't qualify, right? So now, who is taking in the message?
this I don't think he was talking to the men. In large, initially, I think he's trying to let these women know this is the dude you want. He's this amount, and this is how he's going to act towards you. Do you qualify?
But you
okay. And I just think men just so happen like he wasn't talking to the men for the most part. He's talking to the women. Like he did his men talking, and men take his teachings. They're receptive. It's the women when he started talking that was like all the backlash and the pushing. He was talking to the women about what you want, and he was trying to rid you guys of the delusion of this top man that all of y'all want. And he wasn't talking to the Dusties. They heard it and they took it and they did whatever, but he wasn't talking to them.
I feel like you're being disingenuous, but I think that you're trying to give Kevin Samuels the benefit of the doubt. But I'm not. I don't think he needs.
I know this man in real life. I don't think people know. He's from Oklahoma, and I know this man in real life.
He's dead. You knew that man.
Yes, I knew him in real life. Like I met him and I talked to him. I have conversations with this dude in real life in the barbershop. Like we had the same barber and we had conversations. And
was he a Dusty in real life?
Nope. He had his little Chelsea boots and his tight pants and his
little purse
and his turtleneck sweaters and taking pictures outside after his haircut. I remember.
Okay. Did you ever see in real life? Did you ever see the kitten heels or? Were you?
What are kitten heels? Like Chelsea boots? Is that what y'all talking about?
No,
I don't know what kitten.
Some pointed shoes that
I don't remember that. No, he always had on boots when I saw him.
They were on everyone's thumbnails. It was some like pointed shoes, and so one day I think it was either Cynthia G or somebody else. She called them kitten heels. So I wanted to see the famous kitten heels, but I didn't get to do that before he kicked the bucket. Shannon says these women having 5 kids by 30, having these high elections of a man. Now, what do you mean by that, Shannon? Right? Because I don't think it's wrong for a woman to have standards no matter how many kids she has. Right? Like, why did Kevin Samuels devalue women who had children?
Because that it speaks to that woman's character and how she moved in life, and
she has kids.
That the decisions she's made, yes.
Isn't
you don't get to mess up and do all this fuckery. Excuse my language. Can I say the word? And do all this fuckery whole shit, and then jump up in here and say, "I want this kind of person." Why do you? I guess you can demand it, but it's unrealistic.
Okay, so I'm gonna respond to Johnny West's comment in the chat because you just saying anything at this point, right? I think you're just agreeing with Kevin Samuels blindly, maybe because you knew him, right? You guys shared the same barber, and you might have a bias to him. But I truly think this is the part of the conversation that was missing. Johnny West says, "Is a man who works with his hands a high value man?" There's no room for that man in these conversations, right? Because he's always
subjective. If we're just bear what Kevin Samuels says, no. According to Kevin Samuels, no, it's not. But that high value man is subjective. Like, you know what I mean? According to Kevin, no. I'm sorry.
Okay, so before we get back into this conversation, right, I want to put one video. I want us to watch one video real quickly, because there was something about Kevin that just bothered me, right? I hate somebody who likes to preach about certain things that they're just not living, right? They're living in dust.
I thought you were gonna be sweet.
I am gonna be sweet. I'm me to you.
I thought this was gonna be a conversation.
You thought wrong, my friend. No, I mean, I'm not gonna insult you or anything. Kevin, on the other hand, we might have some choice words for him, but I truly think that he festered this delusional male, right? So before we talk about some more about Kevin Samuels and his beliefs about high value men, right? I want us to talk about Kevin a little bit. Right? Let's talk about who Kevin is, right? Who was he? I mean, right? How do I put this without you thinking that I'm trying to be mean right now?
Say whatever you like. I got God rest your soul, KS.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like stomping or pissing on his grave. I would never do that, right? I don't want somebody to do that to me. But he wasn't living anything that he talked about, right? So if I were Okay, if I were trying to tell you about marriage, right, and give you advice about marriage, and I've never been married, I have never had a successful long-term relationship, would you take anything I said
Yes,
seriously?
yes. You don't have to live something to be able to
Now you're
teach
just
about it.
lying.
No, you don't. Like, and I say this anytime someone says this argument. Like, I'm a quarterback coach, but I've never played quarterback, but I'm the best quarterback coach in the world. Like, where you say I'm not qualified to be a quarterback coach because I never played quarterback.
Well, I mean,
I'll be saying that the top 2 draft picks in the NFL draft, they got a short, fat dude as their quarterback coach. And everyone goes to this short, fat dude that's never played quarterback before.
but they know that the expertise and the knowledge of the sport is still there, right? It's just because you physically don't fit into the persona, the knowledge is still there. Nobody needed Kevin Samuels to be rich and famous, right? He only had to be a successful male who took care of his children, who protected and provided for his family, who had some knowledge or understanding of what it meant to be a high value man, right? But to just be a broke bum bastard who's sharing a room in a house and driving a leaky BMW and talking to delusional men all day,
Are
don't
you
you
saying
think
that's
he
what
was
his man? Are you saying that's what he was?
a what?
Continue.
What I was trying to say is that all these things that he's telling women about men, he has no experience with. So how, like, where is he getting that? Because I don't want you to think this is gonna be a trolling conversation. I really want
It's not. I get it, but when you just go outside and look around, you see it. You don't have to live it yourself. Like, I don't understand. So you're saying because he wasn't married,
no,
successfully
he did get
married.
married, but
Well,
he was
that's why I said successfully. I backed it up.
okay.
Since he wasn't successfully married for a long period of time, he wasn't with his kids' mother. I assume you're
No.
saying he's not qualified to have these conversations.
I think that you're not qualified to tell men that you have to um I just think you're not qualified to tell women that you have to be qualified for certain types of men if you're not even that type of man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you can't tell a woman who makes good money, who has good education, who, yes, she might have a child or two from a prior relationship, but this is a woman herself who's successful because there were 6-figure women on his shows. I just think you don't have a right to tell any woman that they don't deserve certain type of men when you've never been that man before. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think when man listened to him, he's not saying like this is like my hard point. Like it's in your best interest to do this type of thing. Not hard. This is what it is. 100% of the time, no. Like it's in your best interest not to date baby mamas. It's in your best interest to stay with your baby's daddy type. This is in your best. It's not just like a hard set rule.
Oh man. All right. I don't want to be too harsh. Somebody in the chat said I'm being harsh. Okay. And I don't want anyone to think I'm trying to like.
I thought you done softened up a little. I think I was wrong.
No, I did soften up. You know, I focus on life and regular stuff. I don't troll the internet like that for real. But I just think like we can't have this conversation without being honest. Like you have to be honest. You know, like
I think given this man's life and all he's been through, he was qualified to speak about everything that he spoke about.
okay. You think that regardless of the life that he was living,
What life was he living?
he was renting a room in a house
How did you know that?
because there's a video right here that I'm about to play. Okay, he was renting a Okay, I don't want you to think I'm trolling too much, all right? Because I really want to try and keep the conversation honest, right? I could be a troll too, but I really don't want to do that here, right? We're gonna watch just this 1 minute clip, and then we're gonna get back to the serious conversation. But this man was living in a rooming house, right? It was a nice one, okay? It was in a nice area with an HOA, but he was still renting a room, okay? Renting a room, driving an old model BMW. And he's selling 6-figure high earning black women with education with finance, like a high financial wage and all that, that they didn't deserve or even qualify for men that made good money that he's never seen, until he was near death.
So by you saying those statements, you're implying that he's broke, is what I'm getting for you speaking about his alleged living situation in his car.
Well, you want me to
Is
be
that what?
honest? I think he was broke because it took him like a month to get buried, right? I think his money was tied up a little bit and things like that. I know his insurance did end up paying out, like, what was it, like 4 million or something like that? But I don't think he was as financially astute as he presented himself to be. You know what I
But
mean?
I know a little bit about YouTube, and just given the engagement in his numbers lead me to believe otherwise.
Okay. You know what? I'm not going to fight you there. I'm not going to fight you there. Scarby says, I think you're being too nice. Listen, when I got a guest on my show, I don't want them to feel attacked, I don't want them
Oh,
to feel like,
I know who Floor is. I got my
yeah,
boxing gloves.
I used to troll this man all the time, so I'm not trying to, I don't want the conversation to come across like I'm just trying to troll you and make you look stupid. I actually want to know, like, am I crazy? Right? I know I'm not, but I want to know from
Yeah,
your
yes.
perspective.
You're crazy adjacent is probably what I could say that.
Okay, let's continue. I'm going to go back to the high value male video because I don't want to get off track. And then we will, trust me, we will return to Kevin Samuel's reputation, where he was living, his child support situation, his income. We're going to get into all that a little bit later. But I want to stay on track because I was really about to go into troll mode and I don't want to do that here. So let's continue with his conversation. His first point on what a high value man was money. Okay? Now, you're not going to tell me, you're not going to piss on me and tell me it's raining. Okay? His entire focus was very, what can I say? Materialistic. But let's continue. I want to hear a little bit more. Give him a chance to really bury himself, or talk, I should say, and then we'll continue.
You man, it starts with money. Again, like it or not, I didn't put the six-figure thing out there. It's been with us since the mid 80s, and like it or not, that's where this whole thing starts. You can't be high value and homeless, so you have to make a certain amount of money, and the line is roughly at $10,000 a month adjusted for Atlanta dollars. If you live in San Francisco, LA, New York City, where the cost of living is higher than 100%, you need to adjust it. So $10,000 a month gets the starting point off for high value. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just giving you what the world gave me. Number two, that money needs to be made over a length of time, i.e. performance. And that's roughly about 5 years. And about the 3-year mark, you're kind of starting to scratch the surface.
So we're still talking about money. Okay, we haven't got into values. We haven't got into really anything outside of money. That's the first two things we're talking about, is how much money you have and how long you've had that money. All right, I'm going to leave it there, Lo. Let's continue.
Why does it need to be 5 years? Well, because, guys, it's a matter of consistency and stability. Look in the NFL, the NBA, anybody can have a great season, but having a great season does not automatically mean you're going to the Hall of Fame. They want to see consistent numbers over a period of time. You know how this works, just like I do in business. You can't be a one-hit wonder or have up here and down there. Consistency, performance over a length of time. That's why the 5-year mark is so important. Like I said, around 3 years, you're starting to scratch the surface, but at 5 years, people can pretty much count on you to say, this person understands and knows how to get it done. Number 3 is group acceptance. Like it or not, guys, high value man is like a fraternity. It's like a club, a secret society. And high value men know other high value men. They welcome him into the group. They know what it takes to be there. They know what it takes to get in there. And high value men, group acceptance is supremely important. Guys, secret societies, fraternities, organizations have always been with us. And you know how this just works in just general interaction. Guys that just make their own secret society or club, but it doesn't matter as much as somebody says that group is important. Guys, this is about separation. High value men tend to huddle around other high value men for reasons I'm going to go into a little bit later. But group acceptance is another critical component of being a high value man. Why is group acceptance so important? Because the next part, a network. You have to have a network of other high value men and others. This is another stumbling block for a lot of guys, for a lot of people, because they may have the money, even the length of time. They may look like they fit the group, but if they don't even have any of the high.
Okay, so we're 4 points in, and the only thing he's talked about is money. You don't see a problem with that?
No, he's talking about the group and other high value men accepting you and being
other other high value men to him are other men with money, and he's talking about being accepted by groups of men with money. We're not talking about morals. Where did you even get morals and values from? If that's not in his argument,
for like 3 years, and so at some point in time, your values came into this whole high value conversation. I don't know if it's this particular video, but yes, that's a thing.
So he's gonna talk. So you're saying he's gonna talk about morals?
I'm not saying that in it. No. I've said it. You've said it before in his many teachings and videos. It's been spoken of. I don't know if it's this one, but that's part of it.
Why can't you admit that he sounds a little materialistic? Is there like something that's stopping you from just admitting that?
I can see as a woman how you feel that way.
Okay. All right. You know, I'm gonna do after we let him talk a little bit and do a few more videos, I'm going to create a female version of everything he just said. And I want you to tell me if you can't be honest about that, then you're just being biased at this point. Because it's one thing if like the third and fourth were, you know, a man with family, values, culture. He's not saying anything but money. He's saying you got to have money for a long time, and another group of men who also have money. What values and morals are in that right now?
I understand.
You're
going somewhere. Let's continue, but you're on point right now.
I just want you to clarify for me in a little bit. All right, let's continue.
High value contacts or network, a group of others, that person is going to be looked at with a side eye. Think of it like this. If you're sitting at the table with 10 high value men, and each of these 10 men has 50 contacts, that's 500 contacts, and you sit at the table and you have twice as much money as any other man on there, but you have 0 contacts. What can you effectively get done other than throw money at it? These other men can make phone calls, exert influence, move things to get things done. And you can only do what? Offer money and potentially feed off that network of contact. One thing high value men know and understand, that time is what's important. Building a network that actually works for you.
Go ahead.
Literally just took money out of the equation. He said, if you got all this money with no contacts, it's done. It's about being useful. And my dear friend from Portugal says it best: use me, don't abuse me. If you're not useful, you're useless.
Okay, so your friend from Portugal is delusional as well, right? But we're not going to get into him. Okay. Hey, Gorge, let's say hi to some people here. But you said that he's talking about something different, right? In that one point. He's really not, though. Because what he's talking about is that connection to money. So even though he's not talking about your money, he's talking about your connection to other men's money. No, there is no value in this.
He's talking about being useful, just being able to get shit done, whatever that shit is. He literally just took money out of the equation. He said, F your money. If you're not useful, you don't get to hang out with us.
Are broke men useful?
Yes, I think broke men can be useful.
How?
Even in my life, my laziness has caused my job to change some things. No, my lazy way of doing it was listen.
We're not taking anecdotal. We're not taking anecdotal.
Okay, but a lazy person, they may be more efficient just due to their laziness. Like this is more because they take shortcuts, and maybe those lazy shortcuts work.
We're not talking about lazy. I said baroque. You said lazy. I said baroque. Are broke men useful? No. Answer the question.
No, they're not.
He's literally just saying stuff, DB. I think this is the problem too. Like everyone is so protective of Kevin Samuels that they're not willing to be honest about the delusion.
So many people are protected of the deceased. There's a death that's different.
Well, I'm not talking about his.
And there's a level of respect.
Okay. I'm not talking about his alive status, right? I'm talking about his teachings, right? I'm talking about his understandings, what he was teaching people. I'm not talking about whether or not he's with us, right? When he rests in whatever he's resting in, since you wanted me to be nice, right? But I think the problem is you're not willing to be honest, right? And say he was talking about money. All four of these are all about money, whether you have it or not. If you're connected to money, then you're a high value man. That's essentially what he's saying.
What you're asking of me is to forget everything. Like, I used to go to sleep to this dude talking. Like, I put it on my earphone.
So now you're being biased because you told me I was bringing in my knowledge of all his teachings.
But where you're asking me is to forget everything that he said about this situation and keep it on this. And I can't, because I know the totality of what he meant. It wasn't just money.
Okay, you know what, Quentin? I'm going to let that stand. I don't want to put too much pressure. We're going to continue though, because I know right now you're playing a little dumb. All right, this is part of the delusion because you're willing to admit that broke men who have nothing follow his teachings and believe his teachings, but you're not willing to admit that it's dangerous for those men to think everything revolves around money.
I think dangerous is probably hyperbolic, but okay.
And that's fair. Fine, you can say that. But let's hear a little bit more. Okay, let's see if something. Well, let's see if something outside of money is going to come into the conversation. Because so far we're just talking about money and being connected to money. Because he says a network is not just a network, right? It has to be other high value men, other men who have influence and power.
Are you not gonna? Useful is a word. He said useful, and that doesn't have to do with money. Like, high value men are useful, and you have a network of more useful men. You keep saying money, but useful doesn't just mean money.
Okay, I'll give you that. Fine, you can have that. If he's advising men to produce,
thanks, Lord G, thanks.
No, because I feel like in some ways you're playing dumb. Like, you're acting like you don't see what I'm saying, and you see what I'm saying.
You are a woman that's maybe 10 years younger than me. We are not going to see this the same.
We don't have to see the same, but we have to be able to see eye to eye, right? We have to be able to understand.
We don't have to. No, absolutely not.
Fine. You want to be all pissy about my opinion. Fine, but you have to be honest. And if you're not honest, I am going to hold your tail to the fire a little bit. But
I agree. I got you.
Okay. If you don't want to be honest, we're gonna have to press you a little bit. Let's continue though.
Is extremely important. In some areas, it's called a book of business. A book of business can make you successful here, and here. Your contacts, your network is your net worth. You've heard this before, so you cannot underestimate how important having a network of high value men and other people is to your status as a high value man. After the network, we got to have the visibility. Guys, your income and your position has to be LinkedIn level. Think of it like this. This person says they're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. This person is head of thoracic surgery at Johns Hopkins. This person is VP of Mergers and Acquisitions at Bank of America. And then someone says, hi, I'm an entrepreneur. 3 of those 4 people, at a glance, we can pretty much estimate who they are, what they do, and their relative importance in the overall socioeconomic structure. The 4th person, more information is needed. There's not enough visibility, not enough transparency. To be a high value man, it needs to be at a glance. Again, your position and your income. Guys, you may have a lot of money, but if it's coming from sketchy areas, no one can kind of understand where it's coming from. That does not give other high value men or even the public any kind of real confidence that you are who you say you are. Again, guys.
Now, I'm not going to link it to income, but I do think transparency is part of being high value, right? People got to know what you're up to, what your intentions are, and things like that, especially if you're somebody who is, claiming that you have a lot of value to your community and things like that. Yeah, people do have to know a little bit. We have to be able to dig in a little bit to your background. Transparency is correct, but I just want to state, and I'm going to move on, that he mentioned money again, position and income, right? So we still haven't talked about a moral value or any core values that would be important for a man to have, right? I'm just stating the obvious, but I felt like I needed to make that, statement because we're playing like he's not making everything about money, and he really is. All right, let's continue.
About the market. It's what the world is thinking. They got to know at a glance that you are a high value man. And the sixth part is probably my favorite part, guys. A high value man is useful to others and the group. A lot of times you hear people say, I don't want to be used. I don't want to be used. No, I want to be used. Why? Because that means I'm useful. High value men are in demand and useful. Their presence is felt when they're there, and their absence is felt when they're gone. That is how you know you're really a high value man. How you can move things, your ability to influence things, and that is your relative usefulness. In economics, it's called ULOs. How useful are you to the group? Again, there's no high value homeless, neither are there any high value loners. If you have all these resources, all this stuff, but it's all hoarded for your own selfish ends, and no one can benefit from your money, your network, or anything you have, how valuable are you to the group, to the world, to other people? That's what this comes down to. High value men are in demand and useful to other people. As I said at the beginning, high value is all the rage, all the buzz right now. I didn't make it, but I want to clarify what I mean when I'm talking about it. The 6 basic principles of being a high value man, and that by no means is the end of it. Each individual person, after that 6 basic things there, they maybe put other things on top of it. They may have religious concerns, personal motivations, but those 6 core things need to be there. Look at it this way. High value has been with us forever. There's always been a ranking system, irrespective of race, culture, period of time. You will see higher value men, higher value individuals separate or be separated from the pack. That is how this works. You don't have to like it, but you do need to accept it. High value men understand that the world is a competitive place. All fair in love and war, right? And high value does 2 things for men. It gives you more options, and it gives you an opportunity to get more favorable outcomes. If you want more options or more favorable outcomes, you need to increase your overall value. And that principle is pretty well understood everywhere except when it comes to us. It gets personal, it gets hard, it gets difficult. And some of us don't like to reduce human beings to things that are so seemingly cold and calculated. But like it or not.
So who's the us that you think he's talking to?
The Negras.
The what?
The Negras.
The Negras? No, he's talking to men, right? He's talking to men that would believe that they fall under high value, right? I think that's a fair statement. Let's be honest.
I think he's talking about just Black people in general, that we don't accept it, the men or the women.
Okay. Is there a reality where you don't have to agree with everything a person says, but can still take heed to things you do agree with? Mick Swagger, I'm going to say yes and no. I'm going to say yes and no. Because some people's opinions shouldn't have any value, right? I'll be the first one to say that. Some of what people say, some things that certain people say shouldn't have any value at all. It should just be taken with a grain of salt and thrown away. And some things that people say are really important. And at some point, you're going to have to distinguish who is talking out of their ass and who is giving valuable information. Now, the fact that all 6 of his core values of a high value man is all related to money is why I feel that way about what he was saying. But you look like
that wrong.
What was that?
I'll give you that. Everything's related to money. I don't believe it, but just that says your premise. What's wrong with that? Because by and large, when a woman tells you what she wants, because this is what this is pertaining to, is what women want. His whole thing is about what women want. He did his man side, but everything of his teachings was about what women want, how you get it, if you can qualify for it. That's what it's about. And most things that women want, it pertains to money and a relationship.
I feel like I feel like that's subjective, one, because if you're dealing with women who all they want is money, then that's your problem, right? But
It's
there are
not all they want is money. Like they don't even say money. It just all equates to it.
well, not really, because if you're a man who, okay, this is why the whole six figures and gotta be rich, gotta have a network of rich men. This is why that shit doesn't stand, right? Because in reality, that's really not going to be most men's situation. Most men are going to be either hardworking or not. They're either going to be able to take care of themselves and a family or not, right? So when you talk about this network, when 3 out of 4 of these are being connected to other men, like there's already something questionable. I would have taken him serious when he said, if he would have said, okay, 3 things are the core of 3 parts of this. The core is going to be financial, but the other 3 parts is going to be duty, is going to be, protection, is going to be whatever other, man offering, I should say, not correction. But I just feel like it's too involved with money. All of it is about money.
It pertains to protection has a money.
Well, not really, because you don't have to be a millionaire to protect your family and your.
See, that's where you're wrong. Protection can be, I live in this gated neighborhood to keep me away from the strags. Protection can be as I don't live in the ghetto. Like that's
right, but
protection.
you don't have to be a millionaire to not live in the ghetto.
You have to have. I didn't say a millionaire, but you got to have some sort of money to take you, put your family in a better situation than.
Yeah, but you don't need a network of rich men to do that, right? You don't need to be networking amongst other men who have power and influence to take care of your family, and that's the issue here. It's too centered on money, and especially when you're talking to an audience who does not have a pot to piss in 9 times out of 10. Do you see that, or you just feel like I'm still being?
No, I understand. I understand.
Okay,
we're seeing eye to eye.
Okay, that's what I like. We got to look each other in the eye. Like, you got to be able to look at another human being and what he's saying can still make sense. To me, I can't look at another person and be like, oh yeah, he's right. A high value man is this 6 core values. No, it's not. He didn't even mention leadership. He didn't mention reliability. He didn't mention protection. He mentioned nothing but money. There are men with money who are put in vulnerable situations all the time. So it just, I don't know. I feel like
his definition of high value over his time on the interwebs, it got bigger.
Maybe
there were things added, and I think this is one of his earlier videos. Given his background, this is one of the earlier.
4 years ago was his earlier years. 2020, 2021.
So. Yeah, about COVID. Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. You just aren't gonna budge today, huh?
I said I'm seeing a
with your fighting it. Like I hate that you're fighting the obvious. This is what a lot of men, this is what a lot of men do when we try to explain that the internet has made a lot of men delusional. It's like there's a fight, even though you see it.
That it's not true. Like as it pertains to like men know who at heart we know who we are. And women, we know what women we qualify for, and it's fine. We settle, and it is what it is. Like, there's not this forever moving goalpost like women have. Like, men are just like, this is who we are. I think most of this, people used to argue with the women. Like, they know I'm a Dusty. They know this ain't me, but I'm gonna use these talking points to argue with women. Like, that's a thing. No,
I don't know. Like you're being so like you're acting like you don't see the obvious, and that's really bothering. Like you can be honest.
I understand that there's a high 75% money component to a high value. I get it, but I also know why he brings this up because this is what women want. It all comes down to money.
So you're really going to sit here and say women just want men with money?
I say women are hypergamous.
See, now you take...
And they're not dating Dusties. They don't want a Dusty. And if they have a Dusty, they see something in that Dusty that leads them to believe that he ain't gonna be that way for the duration of their relationship.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say this for women. I'm gonna be honest for women, okay? A lot of women are dating Dusties. A lot of women are settling. A lot of women are accepting men who don't have it, but because those men are trying, right? Just like Kevin Samuels wants to make this all about money, right? There are some women out there who will reject if a man doesn't have. They'll be like, "Oh, well, it doesn't matter if he doesn't have money." There's a lot of women like that actually who don't want to come across as materialistic, and they accept men who have nothing. One of my friends in college, okay, rest in peace to her. You know, she's dead to me now, but one of my friends in college,
that's real. Like, my bad, take it back.
One of my friends in college used to drive her man around, pick him up, bring him to work, drive him home for the weekend, bring him food, take care of his ass.
I'll just say this. There are bad men in the world. There are bad men who made an extremely intelligent, sweet, wholesome women that do fuckery. Like, they will take this woman's kindness and drag them through the mud, knowing they're not shit. We can meet there. That happens. I would say it happens a lot to the dustier of the group. So we can.
Okay, you want to be honest now. All right, I'll take that. He's ambitious or just living life. Women believe they can fix or uproot a man out of stagnation and complacency, and that's delusion, Davey. I'll be the first woman to say that. And I've been that delusional woman. That's why I can say that, right? I have been her. I have believed that Dusty would be able to lift himself out just by being associated with me and my magic golden vagina, right? We all think that we can just that we can change a man, but a man has to have it in him to be one, right? To step up to the plate. They certainly have to have it in them. So I can be honest, right? I'm saying something that wouldn't be considered favorable to women. That women sometimes are delusional enough to think they can fix a man, and you cannot. He has to be ambitious. He has to have goals. He has to be goal oriented on his own. You can't bring that out of it.
I think there's some women that are inspirational that makes their man want to do better. Like, and they get that. Like,
wanting to do better.
I've done that before. I've seen a woman and was like, dude, I gotta get my shit together if I'm about to do this.
But you weren't in the crapper, right? You weren't like on the shitter. You were okay in life. Maybe you felt like you could do better. And just that drive in you is different, right? Than the men that sometimes women think they can do something for. So I think it's, you know, we're being honest. If we're being really honest, there has to be some root in you that wants to be a good man or a good person. It can't be inspired in you. Like, you have to have at least some level of like internal will to be a good man, to accomplish something, to be somebody, you know? That's my belief. You can be lying and saying that, you know, that you don't have to, but I think you do. And you know the time that you're talking about, you weren't a complete dust mite. So
well, I have a strong father, and I've never been a complete dust mite in my life.
That's what we're talking about, though. You can be honest and say
I can't relate, and I don't really know. I don't know. I gotta take up for the normal of the people. I'm a really understanding person.
You got to take up for the normal people. You know what, Quentin? We're gonna continue because you're gaslighting me, and you're not gonna do that. Okay?
you're being mean to, like. I understand that people. Maybe you need a woman. Maybe I'm dusty, and I need a woman to show me the way. Like, that's weird as fuck to say from a man that you need a woman to show you the way, but some men need that. You know what I mean? They put vagina on such a high pedestal that you need a nice, pretty vagina swung in your face to go somewhere. Like, that's a thing. For some men, that's a thing.
You don't believe that.
And it would be the dusties. It would be the dusties that look to women to pick them up out their place.
But you're trying to act like you're trying to act like a regular man, like you keep saying yourself is the normal man, right? You keep acting like a woman has to tell you, but you still are motivated by what you're motivated by. Nobody told you, hey, you have to, get in there. It was just him. Whether the vagina was swinging or not, that was the motivator for him.
All right, Flora.
Are you gonna be honest at any point tonight?
I'm being honest. I'm telling you.
You're gaslighting.
I am being honest, and I'm a really maybe I'm too understanding and I'm too nice. Most people think I'm an asshole, but in real life, I'm a really nice individual, and I understand the worst of the worst when I probably shouldn't understand it.
I don't think you're rude. I don't think you're mean or anything. I just think that you try too much to understand very delusional and degenerate males. And I'm showing you the polished version of KS, by the way. We're going to get into his raw, like, just disgusting topics that I really hated as well. So I really want to see if you're going to be able to hold up this charade that you got going on.
Well, Mama, I gotta get my notebook. So continue.
All right. Gore says, "Floor, has anyone could you?" So far, Josh has sent a cash app of $10. So, and it's greatly appreciated. We have Lana Love, a member for 3 months, but outside of that, not too much. So, honestly, you don't feel like you got to match anything. Whatever you want to contribute, my dear Gore, I would appreciate it. What do you mean, Josh? What do you mean, damn, Floor? Am I being mean? Are you guys saying I'm being mean now? See, now you turn my audience against me.
I think you're blunt. You're being yourself. I think it's fine.
Okay, so I'm not being mean. All right. Joanne Jenkins says, "Do you find him offensive or arrogant?" I find Kevin Samuels to be arrogant. I think he's way too arrogant. I think he doesn't, like I said, he doesn't fit the mold. Like, he's talking about a level of man that he's never sat with. And that's the problem.
That's not true.
I've sat with more high value men than Kevin Samuels, and I can probably
you're saying stuff that you just like. I understand, you're an intelligent woman. I'll give you that. You're intelligent as fuck. But I'm not gonna let you get that off about this. You don't know that. Let's stick to stuff that we know and not alleged.
Fine. Okay, we won't be alleged. Okay, but I think
it's alleged that he hasn't been in room with these people. Like, given his occupations and what he's done, and people that I've known that he's around. I know the people that I've known him to be around are high value, and I know he was around these people.
Who do you know that's
No, that's all I'm going to leave it at. I'm not going to say names, but I know you're just saying it didn't happen. I know that it's happened.
Yeah, but him talking to people with money is not the same as him having a network of high value men. Like, he's telling other men.
Think this man was just on? He was just on the internet spewing his stuff, and he wasn't living nothing. He broke and dusty. He ain't had nobody, and that's just the end of the world.
No, I think he was faking it.
About my dear.
No, I think he was faking it to make it, right? I think at some point he was trying to live up to his image, right? And that's why when things came out, like the fact that he was only making $800 a month for most of his marriages, right? And the fact that he owed a bunch of back child support, I think he was trying to live up to his image because he sold an image of this uber successful man that he just was not.
Well, he picked himself up out the dust. Like, where do you get all this personal information about this man from? Like,
the YouTube.
Okay, enough said. We'll leave it on. Okay.
All right, let me thank my donors so far. Thank you so much, Gore. He says, "For a good show, keep it up." Thank you, guys. I honestly didn't know how it was going to be received, so I'm glad that everyone's enjoying it so far. Davey says, "For the love of Flora, now go." Now, why are y'all doing me like this? Why are y'all doing me like David? You're not supposed to support me with a troll message. Like, what's wrong with you?
You're gonna troll, you gotta pay for it. Yep, I appreciate you, Davey.
Anyways, all right, let's hear a little bit. There's only like a minute left. We're gonna watch this last part of the clip, and then we'll move on to the next Kevin Samuels video that I want us to dive into today, because this is not the only delusional video of his that we're gonna listen to. Because he does talk more about the high value man. And I really want to know if at some point he's going to talk some more about these qualities that high value men have. You know, we've only heard about money so far. So let's hear this last minute and I'll move on to the next video.
That is what it is. We have civilized the world in general. We have evolved, but at the end of the day, we still had that primitive brain, that hunter-gatherer, fight or flight. And even though in the suit and all that other kind of stuff, that is who we are when it's right down to it. Better to know that exists and then ask yourself, what do you want to do about it? Than try to fight against this whole thing of high value or not high value. Last things, just because you're not a high value man does not mean you lack value or you have no value. And just because you may not be supremely useful to the group does not mean you're useless. High value is not a way of saying these guys are great and these guys are nothing, but it is a mark, a delineation, and it is a fact of life. It comes into play when men are dealing with men and when women are dealing with men. You can't get over it, guys, so you might as well understand it and act accordingly. Till the next time, your godfather is out.
Excuse me. Okay, now he made a 1 minute disclaimer at the end of the video. Fine, right? I'll take that. Let's move on to the next clip, though. He's gonna
he just summed up the totality. What you just skirted right past it.
No,
like
because
level said it. He brought it back to the normal everyday guy. Hey, man, I'm not denigrating you guys. You guys are good too. But at the end of the day, when it's time to get stuff done, and when you the best of the best, it's that guy. Other men want that guy, and other women want that guy around them.
See, this is where the gaslighting.
And there's no getting around it.
Hold on, but this is where the gaslighting comes in because this video is 10 minutes long. And he spent 30 seconds saying that he wasn't talking about, or he wasn't saying that the average man didn't have value, right? He simply spent the majority of the video talking about money being your value and then made a 30-second disclaimer. That is not enough balance. So don't come in here playing dumb.
That's not a balance for you. We are men.
For anybody.
For anybody. And when we see things differently.
If we were talking, that's fine, and I'm okay with that, right? But if we were talking to a, let's say a educational scholar or somebody, maybe somebody who is a relationship expert, do you think that those 6 qualities that he named, right, would be on any of a relationship coach's list in terms of whether or not a man had a high value?
Yes.
You think all 6 of them would be part of the list?
Not all 6, no, but I think they will. But we know who he's talking about. He's talking about the man that women want. He's not just talking about high value man and just this random thing that we're talking about. Like he's talking about what women want is what we have to throw that in there.
Okay. So he knows what women want, huh?
He knows what the women that call his show want.
Okay, fine. I'll accept that. Even though it's dusty as heck, I'll accept that. So
for that.
So he's going to talk about facts about high value men. And we're going to see if he mentions any of those morals and qualities that you've been talking about and we ain't heard shit about. Okay, let's see if he finally tells us about the inner workings, right? Not the outer, not the financial, not the socioeconomic. Let's see if he's ever going to mention those out of this 7-minute clip.
Some of the facts about being a high value man. Welcome back to those who don't know. My name is Kevin Samuels. I'm a professional men's image consultant and life coach. And let's be honest, most of you are drawn to my video, my channel, my platform, primarily because of this thing, high value man, high value man, high value man. It's been everywhere. And I wanted to let you guys understand some other stuff that maybe doesn't get a chance to get covered in the videos or in the shows and kind of clear up some of this thing about what it means to be a high value man. Now, in other videos, I will talk about things like morals and principles and integrity and those kind of things. But
so is it safe to say we're about to watch another video that he's not going to talk about morals and principles? Is this
he just gave a disclaimer.
Okay, so the last video, the disclaimer was 20 seconds long. Now this video, he says he's not going to talk about morals at all.
Things like it's understood. Things that are understood don't have to be talked about.
I don't think they're understood though, right? I think a lot of these men really truly do think everything's about money, right? And they that's their only thing. So they'll get a few coins, and that's all they think about. If every video, I'm not gonna say every, because I didn't watch Kevin Samuels like that. I watched him when other people were watching him say stupid shit, right? For the most part, outside of that, I would watch a clip. I would watch those videos where he would talk to women about what they were looking for and if they can get it. That was the most I ever saw of Kevin Samuels. So I'm wondering if the principles behind if there are real principles and morals behind the message, why is everything that we see right away on his channel about money? I don't know.
It's because what? Okay. Continue.
Let's see. He made a disclaimer 44 seconds in that it's not going to be about that stuff. So let's see what it will be about.
The most part, those things are implied in some of the things or steps that comes along with attaining a certain status. But one of the biggest misconceptions about being high value is that, one, it's not attainable. That that you can't be, born in the mud and do anything. And that cannot be further from the truth. When I think about high value men, I don't think about athletes and entertainers, and I don't think about people who were born into money. And I break it down into something called fact. The facts about being high value. First off, truly high value men are failures. They're failures. They failed often, and they failed in spectacular ways. We're talking about divorce, bankruptcy, repossessions, maybe flunked out of school, multiple businesses that have gone upside down. You name it, these people have failed, and they failed in big ways because they.
Gore says, damn, I gotta fight this urge. I'm not gonna troll right now. Gore says, KS just making things up as he goes along. I mean, it comes across that way, right? Because just like Quentin just said, it's implied. The morals and principles are implied, but we're not going to talk about them, right? Most of his content is going to be this. High value man is a man with money, a man connected to money, a man with power, a man with influence. When are we going to talk about the core, right? The good man inside of the high value man? Or is it implied that a bad man could be high value as well? Right? Because just because you give people money and take care of everyone financially doesn't mean that you're not also harming them. Doesn't mean that you're not also causing destruction and, all types of nonsense in people's life. Having money doesn't eliminate damage that you're causing, right? It just actually can make the damage that you can cause greater.
I agree.
Let's continue though. I don't want to harp on that too much.
Tried a lot of things. So I find it interesting that so many people are confused about high value men having issues or failures in their past. I mean, give you a case in point. If you know any truly successful men, or anybody who's really good at doing something, they don't trust people who had it the easy way, because one, they probably don't have a lot of respect for what it really takes to get there. Two, they didn't make it their own way. So
see, he just missed an opportunity, right? To articulate hard work, dedication, reliability, right? Because you can't build yourself up if you don't have a lot of those traits. He just missed an opportunity to actually talk about morals and principles, even though he said that's not going to be part of this conversation right now, right? So I get the belief that he's going to talk about money in many different types of ways. So let's continue though.
Good news. If you will have the guts, the courage to try things, you're going to fail. You're going to miss the game-winning shot. You're going to miss the game-winning field goal. And the thing is, can you get back up and continue to press forward? So in order to be high value, you have to fail. Next thing I talk about is the A. You have to be willing to take action. This is one thing that separates the guys who will be high value from the guys who will talk about it. The ability to get stuff done. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, but there are people who will sit back and read books on walking, read books on running, sit around and have round tables, research. And they got all the best numbers, and all it takes is one really simple person to just say left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, and by accident they'll get further than people who have all the best knowledge but refuse to take action. And the C, change. This is the one that trips people up the most, right along with failure, because people will say, so and so can't be a high value man. I remember when I knew them back in the day, or back on the block, or back in the trailer park, or back in the hood, or back when they was somebody and they weren't nobody then. And now all of a sudden they reinvented themselves, and now they're see, what they don't understand is if you're not changing, you're wasting time. Every 5 years, human beings should have some.
I feel like he's just talking though, right? We're at 4 minutes. This is a 7-minute video. He hasn't mentioned one. Okay, I get it. You don't have to spoon feed people and tell them, hey, you have to be a hard worker, dedicated, reliable, whatever. You don't have to tell people that necessarily directly, but when you have these like vague, very neutral, very broad conversations, right? This is where you leave room for people to manipulate your message. Right? That's why when people are trying to get a clear message, they'll be direct. Like if you watch YouTube videos that are like how-tos, they'll tell you step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3. There's not gonna be no, oh, you gotta get up and get going and walk down that lonely road and there's none of this weird shit that some of these charlatans in the Black community tend to do, which I do think he is a charlatan, right? That's why he has this pastoral way of speaking where he's telling you to be reliable, dedicated, a hard worker. He's telling you to be useful, to have utility to the people around you. But he's speaking in such a like blob way. He's really not saying directly that you need to have these skills, you need to have these traits in order to be a desirable male. And I think that's why people can get online and say, well, Kevin said high value man this, Kevin said that, and attack certain arguments because it's so vague and broad. You look like you want to say something, Quincy. You can definitely say something if you have something to say. Any thoughts? No? Okay, that's fine. Gore says if you remove, don't be behind the scenes over there yelling at the screen. You can share your thoughts. I really want to know. But I just think like this is where the delusion sets in, right? We're not talking about anything. He's just telling people a bunch of random nothings. He's whispering sweet nothings and saying, you got to work hard, man. You got to do what you need to do. You got to provide. Just say what men need to do. Clear, right? Say you need to be a reliable man. You need to be dedicated to your family. You need to protect, provide. Whatever he's trying to say could have just been said clearly. But for 4 minutes, he's just blabbed about. Are you cussing me out on mute? You're muted.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, like is he cussing me out behind the scenes? What do you have to say?
No, it's I'm listening. This much of the same is the first video.
You said what?
I said as much as the same. You're saying as much as you're saying much of the same. So that's why I don't really have much to add.
Okay. Mukavelli said,
I think you're playing videos to like hit your point home.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay, we got more though. All right. Okay. You think that's what I'm doing, but that's just what it does naturally. This is not just for me to hit my point home. This is his content.
His content is telling women this and how to get that and what that is. And men, if you want to get these. He's not talking to women. This was women. His content was his analytics is women all the way up. I bet You look at him, I bet you there's more women than watch.
You bet? You don't know. You just told me I couldn't say he was around broke people. You can't say his analytics are just women. You don't know that.
Okay,
right? Because women don't receive this message well. I think
women hate watch, and women are the people that always call in.
Women were calling in. The women who called in were not hate watching. They wanted genuine advice.
Yes, the women in the comments hate watch, and the women that called in wanted advice.
They said you knew you were on mute.
Oh.
Roy says, yeah, he leaves a lot of room for misunderstandings. That's my point, right? Like he's speaking, everything I've ever heard of Kevin Samuels is just this vague blob of nothing.
Okay, but we can bring it back to this. If you want to know more, book a session.
This is free content.
You want me to break it down into incremental pieces, book a session.
This is free content that he's putting out. Some of his live streams are like 4 hours long, and he did the same thing he's doing in this video, which is just blabbering along, not saying anything concrete. He's not even using actual vocabulary that relationship experts use. He's just talking. He's literally saying anything.
He's not a relationship expert.
But he did call himself a guru. He said that he got women married. He got women and men together. He helped a lot of people get married. So he is technically. Is he not?
What does that mean?
You're against the wall and you just don't know what to do, Quentin. And it's okay.
Can we continue? I feel like I think we're arguing the same point is what it is. And I just...
Which is fine, but I feel like
if I knew that this is what you were gonna put on my, I would have came through with my videos too.
You know what? But I want to give you that opportunity because now I feel like you're trying to make me out to be a bad guy, and I'm not.
I got to go do some research on myself. I got to come back with some videos to let you know that you're wrong.
But that's okay. Fine. Listen, I picked these videos in 2 seconds. I did not study this man. This is who he is. He's a smooth talker. And you probably can't even believe that you bought this shit, right? When I break it down for you like this.
I know when I started listening to Kevin Samuels, like my level of women, I stopped dealing with a certain level of women. I can tell you that's one thing that I took from him when he said this of men makes this amount of money and this is how small this amount of men. Yes. I told women, you can no longer talk to me. I don't give a fuck who you are, how beautiful you are. You can't talk to me anymore. I would say that. Yes.
But maybe that's a path that you were on, right? Maybe it has nothing to do with Kevin Samuels and you're attributing it.
Nope, it has 1,000%. I started working more. I did. There's so much stuff listening to him.
So if you never listened to Kevin Samuels, you think you would still be lazy?
I would probably still deal with Dusty's. Yes, yep. Mm-hmm.
So you don't think that you're on the minority spectrum of the men who listen to Kevin Samuels? Be honest.
Am I the minority?
Of the people who listen to Kevin Samuels. I'm not talking about the minority of men. I'm talking about who listened to him, who consumed his message regularly, his audience.
Everything that any person says isn't for everybody. Like I can disagree with certain stuff and take bits and pieces and apply it to my life. Like the whole cheating stuff, I ain't really get out with all that. But
you're gaslighting. It's fine. It's fine. I get it. Like, it's so hard for people who liked him to be honest about who.
I am being honest. His message is so rough and blunt and straightforward. It's hard for women to digest it. Okay. Like this is the way of the world. He's not lying. It's the way of the world. Money makes everything go round. Like everything. That's why America is so fat, because of money. And that's why RFK getting confirmed today ain't gonna matter. Because it comes down to money. And that's what it is. It's money. He's not wrong.
All right. Well, maybe in the next
If
3
you
minutes
get
of
down to
the,
the bare root bottom core of most things, it's money.
I don't think so though, because if you are okay.
Most marriages dissolve because of money, not because of cheating. It's because of money.
Well, because of problems with money. Let's be real. It's not just
The
money.
word money is we're using money, ma'am. Problems with money, no money, too much. It comes down to money. Like most things in life come down to money. You act like
You're saying it comes down to money versus being honest and saying like the issue a lot of times with money is not having it, right? Is it absence, maybe a lack thereof or whatever, right? That's the issue. It's not just money itself. It's not just money itself doesn't just make everything go round. It's the value that people put on money, the need that people have for it, right? The fact that it does actually help you meet basic needs. But
I agree.
you like gaslighting, but it's fine. It's
No,
fine.
no, I agree. Like I'm listening to you. I agree. I'm down.
They seem to like your contrarian nature, so it's fine.
Who's they?
The chat, the people who are in the chat.
I believe this. I believe this in my soul. I believe this. And like I could say, like listening to him change certain things about me. Like I used to didn't work as much. I used to deal with women that I probably shouldn't deal with.
But I think that was part of your aging and growing process. I don't think that had anything to do with Kevin's here. I think if we were
part of your aging is listening to your elders and taking heed to what they're saying.
Say that again.
I said part of aging is listening to your elders and applying what you learn from them.
But he's not your elder. You don't even know this man.
He's considerably
any
older
man
than
who's
me.
older than you is your elder. Any man, doesn't matter what they've accomplished.
This dude is almost 20 years older than me. What you mean?
But
next clip, please. What do you mean was? Like it just stops.
It's the fact that you're like trying more to cope versus be honest.
I'm trying to cope.
Yeah, like you're not trying to be honest about who he was, and to an extent, you got to be real and say his focus.
You're trying to get me to feel about this man the way you. Why can't you just say?
No, you don't have to feel, but you need to acknowledge. You need to be real and be like, okay, like yeah, most of his messaging was focused on money, and that's not what a high value man is. You've already said a high value man isn't just money. You can't admit that he's not saying anything outside of money.
At the top of this whole conversation, I said it's subjective. So you ask 10 people what a high value man, and it's going to be across the gamut of all these addresses that they use. So money is the big one.
Money is his big one. All right.
Because the women that call and they tell them what kind of man they want, it all boils down to money.
No, because the women will like. I remember a 6-figure woman. I'm gonna play those videos later. We're gonna save that convo for now. But let's finish this video, and then we're gonna get into some of the more problematic things he said that have nothing really to do with money or anything like that. They have more to do with how the relationship goes. So let's continue.
Something different. And I'm always leery of people who want to just keep it real and be the same all the way through. They're getting consistency mixed up with changing and evolving. Change requires application. Change requires failure and try to do something better. I mean, here's the thing. Look at football. This is why people use sports all the time. Smash mouth football was a thing in the 60s, but they don't play smash mouth football today. It's a different kind. Basketball has changed. You must change. You must fail, take action, and change. But the last part is time. You got to do it over time. And that's the difference, because many people want stuff so immediate. They want it right now. They are not willing to put in the time. They don't have the tenacity to put in the time. It takes work. It takes effort. It takes persistence. And these kind of things are what separates guys who are truly high value from guys who may know the same things, may know a lot of the same things. They may be able to talk it, but they cannot produce the outcome. They cannot produce the outcome because they're not willing to take risks or failures. They're not willing to actually get out of their comfort zone and take action. They're not willing to change. They're not willing to accept new information and find a different way or find a way to do it better. And then they're just not willing to put in the time, wanting a shortcut, wanting to microwave it. And at the end of the day, guys, becoming high value man is an improvement process. Everything is increasing your value until the point to where people find you highly valuable. That's the trick. It's not a static thing that's only attainable by a certain race of people or a certain gender of people, or a certain, class of people. Look, you can increase your value. You can go from Tyler Perry talking about living in his car to now being Tyler Perry. And it's one of the great things about being a man is you can actually go from being the bottom of the bottom to inside of 7 years being at the top. So take advantage of that knowledge that the world affords you the opportunity to improve your value, to increase your value. And here's the thing.
And he's not wrong, right? I do think that he's right. I think that anybody can increase their value in the world. They can become better people. But I think this is his way of fluffing all the dust that we're going to see. Okay, so I'm going to end there. I'm not going to let it get to the end of this video. And we're going to talk about sometimes that people really, really praise Kevin Samuel for, right? Is when they believe that he was schooling what we call modern women, right? And this is where I think the responsibility for your messaging and what you say, comes into play, right? You have to be honest. Not only do you have to be honest, but you also have to hold the people who listen and watch you accountable. You can't allow them to use your message for bad. But I think when men did things like this, which is create these lists of when he schooled women, he leaned into that, right? He would pop up on these shows and he would watch in the chat sometimes. Sometimes he would even join conversations where he understood that certain men or certain people were exploiting his message. So we're going to watch this video by 21 Studios, who says 21 times by Kevin Samuel schooled modern women. All right. Now, I'm going to stop this periodically, but if you want me to stop it at any point, just let me know.
I'm asking about ranking, and what's the problem with ranking women?
I think I do agree that we rank everything in life. Women, I wouldn't say that we rank. I would use a different word. I think we categorize men, which may be a type of ranking. But so when you say ranking, are you referring to you're comparing them?
Yes.
To each other or just to your standard?
Yeah. No, see, you're 32.
Mm-hmm.
You ever been married?
No.
Any children?
Not yet.
Well, when a man asks you to go out, you decide what man you give your information to and what man you don't give your information to. That's a ranking. How tall are you?
5'5".
5'5". Do you care if a man is only 5'6" when you date him? That's a ranking.
All right. Now, so what he's doing there now is he's breaking it down he's trying to make a simple metric for how women should, judge partners. I don't think it's ranking to have a preference. All right. What are your thoughts on that? Because your mouth is open.
He's not. No, he's just telling them what it is. Women rank men. It's
it's not a preference is not ranking. Right. I don't think that. I think this is where he gets tricky with language when he talks about certain things. Right.
Well, I don't think rank men. If you have a group of men who met all your standards, you put them. That's how women date. Like, I like this dude for this. Yes, it is. That's what it is. But is it a ranking or you have a list of all your preferences? It's a ranking. Yes, I agree with him. You're trying to make this more than what it is. But I feel like it's what women do.
He's breaking her down
on their income, their looks, their height, their weight, their charisma, like that.
But he's missing.
So, okay, rank preferences. If you want to use the word, women rank men their preference.
It's not a ranking
Like,
system.
what do you prefer in what order?
But it's not a ranking system, right? Because there is no number. Well, you're not going to date an ugly man, right? So maybe you can say things like that. But I still don't think it's a ranking because it's your preferences. Some women.
Man, do you agree with anything? Like, is there anything
I
that this man?
said what I've agreed with. I literally said I agreed with when he said that when he made certain statements about that you can build yourself up and all that. I agreed with that. Don't try to act like I'm the unbalanced one. That's you. You're the unbalanced one in this conversation. I'm just saying.
Yes, I think women rank. I think everybody rank. Like judging preferences, that's all rating. No matter how you want to twist it, they're all synonymous with one another.
So ranking is synonymous with preference. Okay. All right. Fine. You want to say that? We'll do that. Just keep gaslighting me. This is a 34-minute video. Fine.
Pause is a ranking. Y'all have no problem. Y'all got no problems with ranking men. If a man was working and making $15 an hour, would you marry him and be with him for the rest of your life if that's all he was gonna make? Minimum $15.
Now she might say no, right? But we know that there are women who are married to men who make $15 an hour. So why would he even bring this up?
He's trying to level set her about the ranking of the money.
He's trying to level set her.
This guy's 15, this guy's 20, this guy's 50. Yeah, this guy's kind of cute. Yes, you put them in order, then you pick. Well, this is so simple. I don't understand why you can't just agree with it.
Because I don't like the language. For me, we're talking about relationships. Relationships are not simple. Relationships aren't simple.
I agree, but by and large, that's the problem that most women have with Kevin Samuels is like they didn't like the language, they didn't like how he said it, but it didn't make it less true.
Well, he's not being real though. If he's saying that it's a ranking, everything we do in our head is a mechanical, ranking system where it's very rigid. Ranking makes it seem like it's rigid. It's not rigid. There are women who will date men who make less money, who are not in the best shape, who don't have as much hair on their heads. They do it all the time. I'm just saying, I'm not talking about you, sir. I mean, in general, there are women who will. You think a woman who won't date a bald dude? Like, are we being dumb right now?
But for the total, he talked in general. Everything that he said was in general.
All right.
Everything. He always said that. Generally things are generally true. He said that all the time.
Okay. If that's the hill you want to die on.
I think just in everyday conversation, that's implied that I'm speaking in general, unless otherwise stated. No.
Well, no, not really. Not when you're having conversations about like relationships and you're naming specific types of.
I think generally speaking, humans rate other humans when it comes down to dating them.
Ranking is a harsh word, but fine. You want to say that?
That's why I said women can't get down with the language because you're a woman. Like we rank you. Like
I know
she got
that
a fat ass, she got big titties, she got a pretty face, she got some money. Like yes, we rank y'all. You gonna
ranking is rigid though. Like let me define ranking for you. Okay, a position in the hierarchy of armed forces. A single line of soldiers or police officers drawn abreast. Okay? This is what the word means. Yes, there are synonyms to ranking, but he's talking in a relationship way. Like he's talking about relationships. I can't hear you. You're muted, so it sounds like you're cussing me out on mute again.
Okay, we can leave it at this. Having a specified rank in a hierarchy, leave it at that. Take away armed forces, just women. There's a hierarchy, a ranking of men and women in which most people choose their mates.
Okay.
Why are you so caught up on the language?
Because we're going to see why I'm so caught up in the language. All right. Bob says it's 95% off looks, 5% off brains. I don't think most women would agree with that. I think for most women,
I don't even agree with that. If you got a If you were 10 and you done with a box of rocks, I ain't talking to you.
Right. Yeah, I don't think that people are just naturally gonna go 100% off looks. I think there does have to be some level of personality, chemistry going on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, whatever. All right, let's continue the video.
37,000 is what the median income for a male in this country was. You'd be happily married to him and submit to him for a lifetime?
If he's married to me, that's going to change. So
No. I said if he's just an average man. See, y'all all think y'all have the power. No. See, y'all all think y'all have the power of Thanos to make be not what it is. I said if a man was just an average earning man.
Nah, he ain't
the fact that you can't even.
Nah, he ain't lying. We do, like I said, women think we have magic vagina. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but y'all can pick it up to death.
We think it's made of gold. I did tell you, I will agree with the very few times that he's honest. And he's right. Women do truly think that they can change a man because of not just, they don't think it's just their vagina, but that's truly what it comes down to. Like, a man has to want to change for himself, right? It doesn't matter how good of a person you are. Doesn't matter how great the Gawk 3000 is. If you are not, like, it doesn't matter. There has to be some. I'm just trying to illustrate, okay? Don't be so dramatic. I'm saying, like,
okay, Miss Gawk 3000, be so dramatic, okay.
But that's not dramatic. Okay, Bobby says, no, I meant that's what main dating sites are. It's not how I judge. Okay, yeah, I'll agree. I think dating sites are very focused on looks because that's what gets you in the door. It doesn't matter what a dating profile or a dating site has on it. The looks are going to get you in the door. If somebody's physically attracted to you, you have more of a chance.
They have ratings to say to the contrary, that the more you fill out, the more like traffic you get, the more of your profile. I think it's not that. That's not correct.
What's not correct? Say that again.
That is all. I think they said, like, the more like you fill out your profile, the higher you are to get a mate. It's not just on the looks.
Well, yeah, that combined with pictures, though. You take away pictures, you're not going to get any responses just because you have a full profile. Or if you attach ugly pictures, you're not going to get any responses, or they're going to be very limited. So I think it's easy to say that, but the pictures, the attraction has to be there first.
I agree.
United Ministry says, Jesus Christ died on the cross for your sins. Repent, you guys. I just wanted to share that with you guys. I think sometimes people just come in here and they have a message for somebody. So whoever that message is for, I hope you receive it. Let's continue.
I can't. You're right. I can't live off that because.
Sure you can.
If anything were to happen to me, and if he would have to take care of everything, I wouldn't be able to sustain. Like, I would have to.
What do you mean you couldn't sustain? I mean, half the country's doing that.
I mean, like, I would have to change some things. If we were living just off his income, I would have to change a lot.
Did you go to college?
I did.
Mm-hmm. Did your mother go to college?
She didn't.
Your father go to college? Did your father go to college?
He has a trade.
So your mother and father didn't go to college. They made you. And it's funny that the very people who come from nothing got so high of a standard for the next group of men.
So because she comes from nothing, that means she should accept nothing too? Is that what Kevin Samuels was trying to say there?
If it is, I don't agree.
Maybe this is what people put. Maybe this is what people from them.
I think women can grow and become better women. That allows them to get better men, no matter where they came from.
Right, but I also think but what he's saying is you shouldn't have standards like that because your parents weren't that, right? Meaning if you don't come from royalty and richness, then you have no business seeking that.
That's yeah. I don't agree with that.
Okay, all right. Look at you finally being honest tonight.
I'm always honest.
But there was a little bit of pandering to Kevin, who's not even here, that you've been doing tonight, which is trying to give him a leg, and he doesn't have a leg in that argument, right? It doesn't matter where your parents came from. Your parents can want better for you, right? They can want you to marry better, to have better, right? Because just because her man was in a trade and he was able to take care of her doesn't mean that her daughter is also going to find a tradesman who can do that.
I'm gonna pander though. Like families combine, and it's probably for the longevity of your marriage for you to date someone whose family looks similar to yours.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that argument, but how does
like you came from broke and dusty, but you're marrying top dog, and it's like we go to family dinners and our families hate each other because we ain't the same people. We come from different places and we just can't get along. So what he's saying is not completely why I don't agree with it all 100%. There's some truth in it.
But I think her being college educated, right? Because it doesn't matter necessarily. It doesn't matter if her parents went to college or not, right? If they were able to build a life and a family together, then they can expect and want anything for their daughter. There's no limitations, right? But he's basically saying, hey, if you don't come from money, then no, you shouldn't be seeking out a man who has money or a career or success.
I think that you, Miss Flora, are having a hard time and finding a middle ground. Like everything is
no middle ground in him.
Yeah, like you're like a hard stance. This is what he's saying, and there's nothing else. Like,
no, because I've given him room to say, like, he said some reasonable things, right? He doesn't completely shit out of his mouth all the time. There's only sometimes that he does it, right? And we're going to show those times, but I wanted to show this part because a lot of people were interested in seeing how he talks to women, but he's sort of stepping on everything. He's basically telling women, hey, if your two parents weren't both rich, wealthy people, then you have no business seeking that, right? Even if you've made yourself, even if just like your parents lifted themselves up and created a family with successful and smart children, you can't seek out to do more, right? Because if your parents were, let's say, nothing and they just came from nothing and built a family, right? They still sought out more than they had presently and, built together. So him telling women who leveled up, for lack of a better word, right? They elevated themselves. They became educated. Their finances are in order. Maybe they got in the best shape of their lives. Maybe they look the best that they've ever looked, right? Him telling them that they can't have these standards. Who is he to say that? Like, what value does someone like him have to be able to say that to a woman who has remade herself or elevated herself above average or above standard woman? I just think I think he's very dismissive of a woman or of a person's accomplishments, honestly. Any thoughts before I continue the video? You're on mute.
I don't believe that last comment. I don't think the internet got people thinking that. I just think that's just.
The truth is, most average folks belong with others just as average.
That part is right, but I don't think the internet has to do with it. Everyone wants the best thing. That should do with the internet.
So you don't think that average or below average people are comfortable with what they have, or
I think they are. Yeah, 100% they are. Especially when it comes to men. It's the women that's the issue. The women are like, say you date. I should have said that.
You are something else.
Okay, check this out. Like, no, it's not. Like, women are expensive. And us as men know which women we can afford. Vice versa, women don't. They think they can have it all. Women aren't like that. Say by some chance I dated Beyonce and she broke up with me. Going forward, I don't think Beyonce is my level.
So if you think
on the flip side of that, women got broke up with Brad Pitt. Now, nigga, if you ain't Brad Pitt, you can't fuck with me because I dated Brad Pitt, and everybody else got to be better than Brad Pitt. That's how y'all think. You can't talk to me. I dated Brad Pitt. What you doing over here?
Okay, but that's the woman's standard, right? And what bothers me is that
Change your standards because a dude threw you a bone. Okay.
no, but that's not a dude throwing you a bone, right? If you've been with a man who is successful, handsome, yeah, exactly. Gore, men do the same thing.
No, they don't.
He's trying to act like because we don't. No,
I will knock down a 10 today and go bury my head in a one's vagina tomorrow. What are you talking about? I'm sorry, that was rude as fuck. Men don't do that. No, they don't. Like men.
You are so good at gaslighting. Do you know how good you are at gaslighting, bro? Like I
know where they are in the pecking order of dating. We know where we are. Like we
that's
see
not true at all. Well, how many ugly, dusty, raggedy men have sought out women who are way above their caliber and sought them out for real? Like
because
you're saying because you are that way, but you're acting like you're that way. That all men are that way. You know that's not true. Why are you lying?
Men are arrogant and ugly men. Some of them thinks, and we know the nature of women. Like we can talk an ugly man. Like women are banging crackheads. Like all you got to do is catch a girl in the wrong moment, and she going no matter what you got going on.
Oh my God, I can't. This is ridiculous. You know what?
My bad.
I'm just gonna roll with it because I feel like you're really good at gaslighting. It must be all that time you spend over there with Anton. You are gaslighting the shit out of me, and fine. You know, I'm gonna let you do it. We're gonna continue because at the end of the day, I'm making my point with my videos. All right, and you'll have an opportunity a different day. But I'm making real arguments, and I feel like you're dancing around it because you want to believe that Kevin Samuels had good intentions because you think that the good circumstances you have in your life are because of Kevin Samuels, and they're not. I'm here to tell you, Quentin, the reason why you elevated and grew is because of your own. It had nothing to do with this sassy, tight pants wearing kitten.
You can't. You're telling me that certain things he didn't impact certain things in my life. That's insane.
I'm not saying he didn't impact you. I'm telling you that you're giving him more credit than he deserves.
No, literally, women. I'm like, nigga, I make too much money. You can't talk to me. I literally say that like these super pretty women who try. No, nigga, no, you can't talk to me. I do that all the time, and I didn't do that.
Now I'm the nigga. Oh no. Whatever. No man who can date a 10 will want to date a 3. Exactly.
That's
now
not true.
He's just straight up gaslighting now.
That's not true. The first girlfriend I've ever had in my life.
That's you. We're talking about men, not
in
you.
In general, we're on the gambit, man. That's wild.
You are just like the fact that you can't understand you're making anecdotal arguments. Like you know you're making anecdotal arguments. You've not made one argument. Yeah, that's not anecdotal.
Men know in general where we fall in the pecking order, and just because we knocked off a 10 one night, don't mean that's our standard no more. We know that's a one-off, and we need to go back to where we came from. Why can't you say that's like I usually date 6s and 5s, but this 10 gave me a chance because her boyfriend broke up with her type of shit. So let me go back to where I came from since it's over. I'm not just gonna go after 10s just because I dated one. That's not how that works.
Gore says you can't speak for men. Gore says you can only
Gore, so that's plenty. Gore.
Oh my goodness. Here we go. Now he's attacking the men in the chat. Gore, I'm so sorry that you're being subjected to this abusive male. Okay?
I apologize, Gore. We appreciate your contribution to the stream.
Yes. Maybe happy is better than wealth. That's what I think, right? I think it's more important.
No. Happy is being happy.
It doesn't matter how much money you have. If you don't have anybody to enjoy it with, you don't have any place to make memories, you don't have friendships, you don't have associates, it does not matter how much money you have. That's the whole thing.
It seems so normal. Like, I'm sorry, you can say what you want, but people with money, people flock to people with money, and those people make them happy. Like, what do you mean? Like, money makes life easier, happier. All yeah, that whole money don't make you happy is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. It's so dumb and it's such a cliche, and it's not right.
Now, I'm obviously not talking about a homeless person, right? But that's what I feel like the comparison you're making. In your head, you're saying that you're implying that I'm saying a homeless broke bum can make you happy, and that's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying the centerpiece of your happiness, of your success, cannot be money at all. It has to be some values that you have. And again, Kevin Samuels, when he talks to these women, he's not going to say, oh, you need to seek a man who's reliable, dependable, valuable, who has utility. No, he's going to say, oh, this and such. This is what a high value man is. Well, do you have a small waist? Are you 5'5"? Like, he's talking about materialistic and like vanity when he should be telling these women.
Talking about what these men of high stature, what they generally want, because they can men.
How would he know? How would he know, Quentin?
I assume that he has a network of those men in his aura, in his sphere.
No, he did not.
I don't rock with the fact that he didn't hang out with high value men. I don't agree to that.
He lived in a rooming house.
I don't know where you got that from.
A leaky BMW. Come on.
What do you even know where he lived? What state was that?
I don't know.
Like,
I know
because where he was when he passed away wasn't that.
No, but it doesn't mean he didn't just go move into another rooming house or finally be able to afford a one bed.
So where his final moments were in a rooming house, is what you're saying?
No, his final moments were underneath an overweight Latina. Listen, you're not getting it. The fact of the matter is, Quentin, is that he was not able to speak on what high value men want and seek because he was not that, right? Him being associated to men on YouTube who are popular or other like popular content creators is not a way to there's no way to determine his real value based off of that. And that's where the delusion sets in, right? You said you knew him in your neighborhood. Did you ever see him with high value men? Did you see him in high value places? Probably not. Unless you can say
I talked to him at the barbershop, and that was the brunt of that.
Yeah, and that's it, right? You never saw him anywhere where high value men were hanging out. I would argue to say the type of high value men he talked about wouldn't even get a local haircut, right? They would have a barber come to their house because they got money. So again,
no, I'm not. No, you making stuff up? No, because you know who else go to my barbershop? The owner of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Okay, fine, right? There are some millionaires who choose to dwell who
go to the they want the normal barbershop experience and talk to the brush, chop it up with other men. No, that's not true, Flora. I'm not gonna let you get that off.
Fine. All right, let's continue this video because if you can stand on this argument through all of these videos, I'm gonna play fine. All right, I'm gonna actually stop this one because we are limited on time. I'm gonna stop the one where he talks to women, and we're gonna talk about some of his core ideology, is what I think it was, right? Because this is the conversations that he had and the talking points that he had that were peddled the most. All right, so we're gonna talk about when Kevin Samuels talked about women needing correction. Okay, let me play this video for you guys. I wonder if you're going to be able to stand on this. I don't think so, but if you can, I'll be very, very surprised. All right. Let me get this on the screen. Okay. And this was somebody who caught him in the act, so it might be a little biased, but it still is his own words and his own, talking points.
Hey, Kat, go ahead.
Go ahead, JR.
Hey Kev, I got a question. Before you hopped on, we was talking about the woman's tongue. An example that I used was my sister just having no respect for the man. And I talked about how men do not have to give respect in order to receive respect, that men should just give respect off GP. And I was just kind of just blown because like my sister felt the need that she not only tried to disrespect me, but when my grandfather was in the house and said he didn't want no yelling in the house, she just totally disregarded him. And my concern is that even in marriages, like relationships, and just even as strangers, that women feel that it's okay to disrespect a man. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna use it a couple of ways and tie it into something I heard earlier. If we can't hold anybody accountable that we are directly tied to, we can't have a community. You used to get a whooping by Mr. Brown if Mr. Brown saw you doing something wrong because you were accountable to the community, not just your mama and daddy. I'm gonna leave that sitting right there. The women today don't fear what Sean Connery told Barbara Walters. There are times when the best course of action is to slap a woman. That's what Sean Connery said. It's still on YouTube right now. Go look at it. And Barbara Walters was like, thought he was going to recant his statement, and he doubled down. He said, let me explain what I mean. He's like, women have a way of not knowing how to let things go. You can give up the argument. You can let it go. They can know they've won. There's nothing else to be gained, and they will continue to push and push and push. And he said, at that point, once you've exhausted all other options.
How do you feel about those statements that he's making? Okay, before he gets deeper into it.
I think I'm going to agree with them. There's a time and a place, but yes, you need to resort to violence to get people to act right. You
need to resort to violence to get people to act right, or women?
In general. Right?
He's talking about women. So
I agree.
Stay on that. You think women need to be hit for them to listen?
I have a job.
So what you're saying, Quentin, is that you will never back anything like this.
No, I would never condone hitting a woman to get her to act right.
So why would someone like Kevin Samuels, who we know has a majority dust mite audience, you said it. You said it was a bunch of broke, busted and disgusted men with no money.
Didn't use those words.
You said those are your words, right? You said they were broke, busted, disgusted, ashy, lonely, right? Who are watching. Why would he want to put a message like that out there? Right?
Things used to be okay for that to happen. Like I think emotional men
used to be okay for us to be on plantations. Do you want to?
I get where emotional men, like those are the emotional men, are probably the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to men. But what are you saying? Yes, it used to happen.
Okay, it used to happen, but it doesn't anymore for a reason, right? There was a moral issue.
Yes, as morals change in society, the things are no longer acceptable. Like as of right now, I'm a fish, and you got to accept it. It's just where we are.
No, we're not. Trump said there's only boys and girls. That's what Trump said. Okay, I don't have to accept shit, but I get what you're saying, right? You're saying that things are fluid, right? But he's still
morals are fluid. Yeah,
morals are fluid.
Yeah.
So there's no morals that stand the test of time.
Yes, there are certain morals that stand the test of time. I don't want to go into this conversation, but yes, that is correct.
What are some of the morals that stand the test of time?
Some of the morals is just to be kind to people in general.
Okay.
Be a good person in general. But there's also morals that changed, like the age of humans and what you can do to certain humans at certain ages.
What's that, Quentin? What
It
exactly?
used to be okay for you to do things to 14-year-old humans. That's not okay for you to do to 14-year-old humans anymore.
Okay,
Mother
but
Mary was 14. Mother Mary was 14 years old.
was she real even? Okay, because we're not gonna use Mary. We're not about to use Mary as an example.
I'm just saying, like, I don't, because this was a whole big thing that I agree with that I ain't never get my name caught up in when it was going around on the internet. But back in the day, it used to be okay for you to do something to certain humans that ain't okay. And I would venture to say that number will increase over the next 100 years. The age of an adult may not be 18 anymore, maybe 25, and then it would be totally disgusting to mess with an 18-year-old in 100 years from today. We'd be like, I can't believe those people talk to 18-year-olds. That's what it is.
It hasn't been 100 years.
I didn't say it's been 100 years. I said over the next 100, that the age of an adult may change. I'm just
My belly hurts. You just made my belly start hurting.
I don't know. Usually when I make girls' belly hurts, they like it, but that's how I feel.
I don't like this one. This is making my belly hurt because
I didn't want to go down here, but I needed to say it to prove a point that society changes and things are accepted some days and is not accepted going down the line. I understand that it was acceptable back then and it's not anymore. And by no means am I telling women or men to hit women. It's not okay for anyone to touch anybody.
Right. Okay. You know what? We're gonna pivot completely away from what you just said.
She said you about to get me demonetized in this bitch.
I am traumatized just by what I've heard the last 5 minutes, but we're gonna leave it be. So what you're saying is because things used to be okay, that we morally came to the conclusion that they're not.
Yes.
That it's okay for him to be saying this in the present day.
I don't remember why he said it. I assume he's trying to.
Well, he spoke to Sean Connery too. You want to see that interview? I don't think you do. You're gonna say I'm setting you up for that interview. So I'm trying to be balanced here, but you're not helping because you're being very, very, very. You're caping for Kevin Samuels. You're simping for him, actually.
10 toes.
Okay, fine. If you're okay with doing that, that's okay. But at least I'm trying to be balanced here, okay?
Wherever this goes or wherever this lands on the internet, I'm fine with it.
Which is fine. I don't have any dusties over here anyways. They're all dead and gone. My rule is if I need to raise my hand, you are not worth my time. Exactly. I think that in any relationship, right? If you ever get to a point where you're considering using physical violence, you need to walk away. If you feel like you want to beat your friend's ass, you guys aren't friends anymore, right? Like you're probably not going to be cool with that person for real ever again. And that's okay.
No, that's not okay. You're right. Okay.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say? I don't want you to
I didn't want to, most things that we talk about in my life, like my life is it's interesting. But I've beat my best friend's ass before and I went to his freaking wedding 3 years later.
Okay, maybe men can do that, right? But if I put hands and feet on one of my girlfriends, we're not friends anymore, right? If I beat your ass, we're not friends. But maybe that's just women. I don't know. I do hear sometimes when men can, solve their issues by fighting. So whatever, I'll give you that. My brothers have said the same thing. I have 4 of them. I'm not stupid, right? But maybe a better example. And see, now you throw me off. All the gaslighting has now thrown me off of what I was going to say. Whatever. Let's continue the video because can you continue to make excuses for Kevin Samuels through everything that he's going to say? I don't think so. All right, so we're going to move on to the next video. And this one is him talking about I'm gonna skip the Sean Connery video, right? I'm gonna talk to him talking about not believing doctors. All right, this is more so meant to be a message to women who have children and they get married, and he felt like somehow he needed to make this point. All right. So we're going to see this conversation that he had with a woman where he tells her that you shouldn't believe your daughter or your child in favor of a man that you married. All right. So let's see if how this one's going to play out. And I want you to tell me after the video, Quentin, right? If you agree with what he's telling this woman, if you agree with the statement that he made about dealing with dynamics of a blended family, because blended families are hard. They're not easy. All right, let's continue.
The child's father. How do you think you can make your asset to the? How do you think you can make your child an asset to the kind of man you want to marry?
How can I make my child an asset?
To the kind of man you would want to marry.
I would have to. I feel like I would have to train her to be an asset, as in get her ready for life in general. Put her in classes, make sure she's smart, make sure she's not, put in that time to make her a better person. Correct?
I'm asking,
am I right?
No, the question is how to make your child an asset to that man. That makes her an okay person. But how can you adopt? And this is a question all women are going to have to answer for themselves. How are my children benefiting you as my husband?
I never thought about that.
Hey, front porch, how you doing? Lana says this one is disgusting. Now, Quentin ran away from the discussion. I'm sure he'll jump back in a second, but my child, if I marry a man and I have a child, doesn't have to prove anything to my partner, right? They don't have to prove their worth. They don't have to prove their... honestly, the only thing I would require of my child is to have a baseline respect, right? And even that can change if my partner comes in and thinks that they're going to just, tell my child what to do and try to discipline them right away, right? I think on both sides, there has to be respect and there has to be openness, right? They have to allow a place for the new man. But where does this man get off telling a woman that her children have to earn favor with him, right? They have to earn value. Why are you marrying somebody with children if those children have to they have to provide something for you, right? Those children are just innocent bystanders. And I think he was saying something here that was more degenerate than he let on, right? I'll say this, Kevin does a really good job of marketing himself, but like presenting himself in the best way, presenting himself to be, legitimate, even when he's not, right? He's going to come across it. All these videos that we see of him are very polished. He's talking about relationships in a very polished way. But what kind of regular man tells a woman that her children have to earn favor with them, right? That sounds strange. What are your thoughts on that, Quinn?
I don't agree. I don't agree. I agree with your initial statement that children should respect adults. And you should probably just leave it at that.
Right. Nothing else needs to be required of that child, right?
Nope. Just
outside of respect.
I agree.
Okay.
Earning favor, I don't agree with any of that. No.
Oh, so
I guess you earn favor by giving respect. I guess that's a thing, but outside of that, no.
Yeah, by giving respect. Yeah, you are going to earn favor like that. Absolutely. But don't you think it's a little strange that a high value man would be focused on what children can give to him? I'm just asking.
I don't like what you're doing, for.
What am I doing? Are you a victim again?
You're giving me these horrible things, and you want me to make them right.
I'm not trying to tell you to make them right. I want you to give me how somebody could.
I don't understand it. I don't agree with it. I think.
So where does this? How does this make you feel about Kevin Samuels, though?
It doesn't. People have individuals. He's an individual who thinks a certain way, but as a totality of who this man is, it doesn't change what I think of him.
Okay, so you're okay with him saying that children have to earn favor for a marriage that has nothing to do with them, really. Their parent chose the partner. They have no control or rights. You think a child has to earn favor then?
I don't think that, but I can understand why he could think that. Hey, your mom is dating this man, so you as a child need to fall in line so you don't ruin what your mama got going on over her.
You think it's a child's responsibility to do that?
I said I could see where he's coming from. It's not totally wrong. Like I don't think it is. Like y'all need to act right. Mama like this dude. We need to act right so we can keep him. Type of stuff. I understand. Not totally wrong. Two things could be. I hate this, but two things would be true at the same time.
This is when you're gonna insert the two things can be true into our conversation, huh?
You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming.
I'm not gonna judge you because this is some foul shit for him to be saying, and I could be judging you and saying you're a dust mite, but I'm not going to. Right? I can
understand why you would feel that way. I understand. I rebuke your assertion that I'm a dust mite.
Lana says, children are adorable. They have favor with me regardless. I enjoy their different personalities. Yeah, because children are vulnerable.
But no, that's not true. It's not totally, because you can meet a woman and her kids can be bad as fuck. And I was like, I can't be with you because your kids is unruly and they don't know how to act.
Okay, but that's not necessary. That's more of but that's
up on these
sign of poor parenting, though. So you would be right to leave that relationship, because if those kids are bad as hell, they do whatever they want, they destroy, ruin everything, then that's a part of parenting, right? That's not an irrational reason to leave somebody. But to say your child has to earn favor with me, them doing, because she clarified, she said, well, yeah, I'm going to teach my kid to be respectful.
Maybe he just used the wrong word. Maybe he used the wrong word, because earning respect is earning favor. You're caught up on the word choice. This is your issue.
So first he used ranking and you gave him that excuse. Now he's telling children they have to earn favor and you're going to give them.
Okay, so I'll tell you this. I'll use an editor. I used to work in customer service. And any time that my supervisor listened to my call, I thought I was right on anything she said, and it would piss the customer off. And she used to always tell me, say it a different way, Quentin. Say it a different way. And that's all that Kevin Samuels used to do, is say it a different way.
I don't know. You know what? It's fine. If you can find beauty in all of this degeneracy, then
I'm not finding beauty, but I told you at the beginning of this, I am a very understanding individual, and I can find some stuff. I can find some sense in a whole bunch of nonsense.
But isn't that a character flaw at some point, right? Because
I'm not a perfect man. I'm still growing.
Okay. If you can admit you have a character flaw, fine. We'll continue this video. I'm not gonna drag it out, right? Let's see what else he's gonna say to this woman about how her children have to earn favor with him.
Well, and that's the problem.
What would you suggest? I'm just wondering, because
I would say it's going to be extremely difficult. But what I would suggest is women who actually think about it from the man's side, understanding that my child today is a liability because it costs. So number one, is she well-mannered, well-behaved, smart, taking care? Does she understand?
And let me just say this. This is coming from a man who never took care of his children for real, right? The woman was always carrying the financial burden of their family.
We don't know that.
I'm just saying.
We know what people said on the internet.
No. We saw child support orders, okay? We saw divorce creeds where it said for the majority of his relationship with that woman, he was making $800 an hour, okay? And he owed back child support after they broke up. We saw the documents. I saw the documents. Yeah,
what is owing back child support after they broke? What does that mean?
Owing back child support?
I'm bringing I owed back child support, and you know why I owed back child support? Because I didn't know I had a kid for a year and a half. So when I went to
making it anecdotal, Quentin.
There's a world where someone owes back child support, and it's totally like it's not a problem.
When you don't agree, or when you know you don't agree with what's being said, you go anecdotal, right? And you start talking about your own experience.
I have to pull from my experience.
No, you have to pull from your knowledge.
If you tell anybody in America some dude owes back child support with no context, you automatically think the dude's a piece of shit.
Right, because if you owe $15,000 in back child support, it's probably not new, right? $15K in child support is a willful ignoring of your duties, right? You're
Okay,
not just
so
building up $15K in a year.
No, that's not true. Check this out. What do you say about a man who's taking care of his children? He ain't giving the mother money. He's getting the children. He's buying them clothes. No big deal. And something happened in this relationship, and now we're going to court, and you can't prove any of the money that you sent for the duration of this. Now you're on back child support because there's no receipts of payments directly to the mother. Because you got to realize when you go to court, buying clothes doesn't count as child support. Buying diapers ain't child support. Doing for the child is not child support when it comes to the courts. It's how much money did you get a mama?
Well, at that point, the reason, okay.
Women do egregious things.
Oh, hold on, because what we not gonna do is turn this into a conversation where women are attacking men with the child support system. Yes, that happens sometimes, but that is not the majority. The majority of the men who are caught up on child support, right? This is why I said stop being anecdotal. The majority of the men caught up on child support are willfully not paying. They're willfully choosing not to pay. So it's not necessarily that they're caught up in a bad situation.
I hate this, but I'm using it. I'm gonna agree to disagree. I don't think you can just say people just out here just not paying child support because they don't want to. I think there's more context to every rule, and I don't think
I worked in workers' compensation, right? I was a paralegal in workers' comp.
Okay, anecdotal, blah blah blah. Okay,
No, because you said anecdotal's okay, right? This is how you understand.
Can you make us bigger?
Huh?
Can we get Kevin off the screen?
Yeah, we can get Kevin off the screen. Okay, so but you said that when it came to not anecdotal, when it came to damn, you just threw me completely off what I was gonna say. Let me stop smoking weed. So what you hold on. So what you're comfortable saying that the most of the men on child support who have large liens and things like that, they're on child support not because they're willfully ignoring it, but because they were railroaded into it.
I don't think that they're willful. I think there's circumstances in which child support is so much that a guy can't keep up with it.
Get another job, right?
That's easier said than done.
But there are women on child
support. See, because when I got put on child support, it just so happened this random year I got put on. It was the most money I've ever made in my life, dude, because I worked so much overtime. So they set my child support based on hours and pay that I wasn't even guaranteed to get the next year.
Did you have an attorney?
Yes, it's the law. Okay. We can only
hold on. In my field, we had to deal with a lot of men with these same issues, right? You can go to court to change your child support based on your income.
Yes, you can do that once a year. Yes. But you also have to pay that attorney once a year to do this shit.
Right. You got to pay to play. That's life. Right?
So paying the attorney outweighs the child support that I'm trying to get adjusted. What do you mean? I understand your sentiment, but they're by and large child support men get railroaded, and they have to owe too much money to these women.
So did Mary J. Blige get railroaded?
I don't know what happened to her.
She has to pay child support and alimony to a man who, although there's no like direct evidence, but it's pretty clear that he became her manager in order to romance her and get married to her and take half of her money after she became successful and make her pay him alimony, child support, and right because he was her manager and manager.
I don't think anyone should ever have to pay alimony to a man. So let's get that out of the way.
So are you?
I as a man, I don't believe that should happen. There
are women who pay child support. So what's the argument for them?
It depends on the amount. Like, it's not just the pure fact of paying child support, it's the amounts. Like, some of these amounts are egregious. There should be like brackets of child support that if you make this amount, you pay this amount. Like, there's like that type of thing. They shouldn't just be your income plus this income. You make more money, and anytime you make more money, all of a sudden the child becomes more expensive. That's ridiculous.
Well, a child is they have a right to the type of lifestyle that you live.
That's so dumb. I knew
No,
you.
no. If you are wealthy, hold on. If you're wealthy and you're making money, why does your child have to accept the bare minimum? You made him.
I know people, once the woman left the relationship, it looks different. You can the judge can say the same, it looks different. When my kid is over here, it look way different than when she was at her mama's house.
What does that mean?
There's no, I can't. So you're just gonna charge me out the ass to make it look the same?
It's not to make it look the same. You are the child's
father.
father.
Afforded the same lifestyle. For her to be able to afford my lifestyle, what I'm giving my kid at my house, like,
you shouldn't have had a child with her then.
That's
if she
not
was a broke bum bitch. Hold on. If she was a broke bum bitch who wasn't on your level, then you shouldn't have had a child with her.
That's not, because there's people who've been married for years with the same problem, and they split and they have the same problem. Like, I get it. Like, it's hard. Like, child support, it's like a slippery slope, but it comes to a point, there has to be a cap on some of this shit. I'm sorry. My child is so much I can take care of your whole family now. That's ridiculous. like, I'm not talking about like bottom
really
butter. Like,
but these men who are paying higher child supports, right, than
like
the
10K, 24K a month is wild for a child support.
But if your dad, hold on, if your dad is a multi-millionaire, $10,000 a month is nothing. That's nothing. That dad is living better than everyone you know. You deserve a part of that, right? You deserve a percentage.
I understand, Flora.
Like, you're not going to sit here and be a wealthy man and your child is going to live in bare minimum because that's what the court makes you give. You know, it's just...
It's not even that. The court should probably give the child to the more well-off person. So that's not even an issue.
Look at WCW. He says, I'm paying $5,000 a year. How much is $5,000 a year?
Nothing. Nothingness.
Nothing. Right. Not a damn thing. Hold on.
Hey, shit, nigga. You need to... Sorry, that's rude.
Divided by 12. $416 a month.
Yeah, man, that ain't...
But there are men who spend that much a month that think that they're being robbed by the government.
They spend that much eating out.
I mean, my eat out budget would kill some of these men.
It's fucking stupid. It's stupid dumb. I'm like, fuck.
I have to stop doing it. That's how bad it is. I could probably have purchased several cars at this point. But a child is due what their father has. So if your father is a millionaire or your father is a thousandaire, whatever you want to call those men who have a couple $1,000s in their pocket, right? Or in your case, you are at the top of your career, your child deserves to eat off of that, right? It's their right. Their natural born right. You had them, right? So
I think if no, I don't agree with you. Give the kid to the more well-off of the parents.
So you believe that a child should have to leave?
So many,
hold on.
This is the thing.
No. You're gonna have to stand on this. So you believe that a child should have to leave their mother because the dad is making more money?
They have to leave their mother, their father because the mom, because the court said so. What do you make? What are you asking me right now? They're leaving a parent. They're leaving. One of the parents is getting left.
Yeah, but women are known for being primary caregivers. Though.
That's not true. Like the majority
of 90% of women, like 90% of people who are taking care of children are women. So you can't say that
the court give them to them, and also 90% of the kids that experience abuse are by the hands of the mother, not a dude.
Did you know that? Okay, here you go. You've been listening to real Dusty. Oh no! I didn't expect your internet. I need to
I
cut
see
your
you. You've been around the streets.
Listen, that's why you said the YouTube streets were hot, because you were listening to
I think Londa's thing is it's I think that's a good point. Like 50-50. You don't pay nothing, I don't pay nothing. We take care of the kid when we got him, and that's just what it looked like. I don't like, because more times than not, when a man has the kid and the mom, women ain't out here paying child support when the dad got the kid. Because by and large, the dude just do what he's supposed to do. Like, I don't
That's
know
not
too many
true.
moms.
Okay, I hate to invoke my dusty ass situation, right?
Okay.
But that's not true. And I have experience with that. Sometimes the mom is paying when the dad is.
So that's because the dad is super broke and indigent. I don't know what situation you're talking about.
What is your problem? What is your problem? You didn't have to go there. Okay. Listen.
Flora,
my point is, Quentin, if you are at the top of your career, your child should be eating like you, whether they are with you 100% of the time or not. It doesn't matter. They should still be eating like you. So, of course, the court is going to temporarily lift it up, because you could always go back to the court and say, hey, my income has changed, and they will adjust it. I've witnessed it. They've adjusted it for many people that I was representing at my law firms, that, we'll only take half of your workers comp settlement for child support. Like, there's a lot of exceptions that are made. So I don't know. I feel like you're being mildly just disingenuous, but
this conversation it's futile.
it might just be, right? Because I thought you were going to be more honest with it. But let's watch a little bit more of this video, and then I am going to have to sign off, because we're getting close to 3 hours, and I really don't have that exact time to stay here.
I got 5 minutes. I got somewhere to be at 6:35.
Oh, yeah. Can you send me the link to that after? Because I want to go troll you.
The link to it? No, not that. I got somewhere to be locally.
Oh,
no, that's
okay.
not till 9 o'clock. That stuff's not till 9 o'clock tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna be over there trolling y'all, so make sure I don't get blocked. No,
I'm a moderator, so don't get out of hand.
Anyways, let's watch a little bit more of this video here, and then I'm probably gonna have. How do you feel about my friend being part of this conversation? We're not gonna jump you, okay? Not today. But how do you feel about continuing this?
I gotta go in 10 minutes, Flora.
I'm just saying, we're gonna watch 2 more minutes, and then I'm probably gonna send you.
So it better happen. Whatever happened better happen in the next 10 minutes. And if y'all jump me, I'm telling.
Fine. All right, we're just gonna watch the video for now. We'll talk about jumping you another day. We'll talk about that some other time. But this is we're gonna pretty much end on this, because I really didn't allow for enough time that I really wanted to talk. I have plans in like 30 minutes. We're going to talk about this next video where he talks about low value women, right? He's going to define for us, probably for the first time tonight that we're actually hearing what a low value woman is. Because he's been talking about high value for a long time, all about men, all about pussy and stuff like that. Now we're going to talk about women and what he thinks a lower caliber woman is. I don't know why they put rest in peace to the Godfather, but that's there.
They use shaming tactics. Yo mama black. You hate women. Shaming tactics. Shame, shame, shame. Shame is one of the 4 major arrows of a low value woman. It's part of a low value woman's pathology. You cross the board. I don't care what you have on paper. When women operate in these areas, they diminish their value to low. Because if you really have a good argument, you should not have to shame somebody. Shaming is just a way to get control of the conversation. Shame is different than insult. Shame is using is used to.
But didn't he come up with the shame, blame, and explain, or am I remembering that incorrectly?
He came up with the sign language: shame, insult, guilt, and the need to be right.
Oh, okay. So he had nothing to do with the SBE era.
I don't know what that means.
Shit, you know what shame, blame, and explain is. Stop playing dumb.
No, I'm out of pocket. Like, I don't know what that means. Like, I can assume, but I've never heard it till like right now. I didn't know it had a little acronym and all that stuff. I didn't know that was a thing.
Fine. We're gonna get these last few minutes in because you just want to gaslight me till the end, which is just fine. Okay, you're gonna tell me you never heard
3 hours straight. I gaslighted Flora.
Okay, Black Beauty says I heard it before him. Yeah, definitely before him, but I think he also attached that to his message at one point. If I'm wrong, you guys tell me. I think he did, but let's continue.
To turn a positive into a negative. Shaming tactics. Success shaming. Oh, well, you think you better than everybody because now you lost weight or because you got some money. Shaming tactics meant to keep you stuck. People who can't win the argument tend to use shaming tactics. Another sign of a low value woman is she often insults. To speak or treat with disrespect or scornful abuse. You gay. You got a little pee-pee. You ugly. You this, you that. Insults. Oh,
Now, come on. Now, who called him gay that he got?
Do you know what they call me on the other streets? I'm a 3-time gay baby daddy. That's what the chat
with a BBL, right?
With a BBL. They're like, got 3 whole kids. I don't, but that's what they say. And I'm gay. Not sure how that happened, but that's rock.
But have women or men called you that?
Men. No, a woman's never called me gay.
No. Oh, right. So men, you guys are the ones fighting amongst yourselves.
Men call other men gay to insult them. I don't think, by and large, I don't think anyone calls people gay. We don't call gay people gay. You know what I mean? You call someone gay to insult them, not because, you know what I mean?
Right. But so he's saying here, though, but what he's talking about is supposedly what low value men do or low value women.
Low value women do. I get that when women are, when women are mad at you, they say they insult you, and some of the insults by and large aren't true.
Oh my goodness. Think how often you hear someone when they're losing an argument or can't stand on the merits of the argument, they want to come out with an insult. In debate, it's called an ad hominem, against the man. The first person to get off the topic and start making personal insults is the one that loses. Insult. Low value women playbook. Pathology.
My problem is, why does he need to assign this to womanhood, right? Because he can be talking about anybody.
This is probably like a snippet of her. How long is this stream?
Well, this video that he uploaded is only 7 minutes long.
There has to be some context that lead it up into why he's explaining this, and that's why people hate it. That's how most people hate the people in this.
There's no context. You just watched the first 2 minutes of the video.
You have cut me off one too many times, sweetheart.
Go ahead, sir.
But there's so many times, like there's like a 3-hour stream, and someone will take one part and clip it up and change the whole narrative of what the fuck they talking about. And that's happened to him. Like, why? He's just not just saying this for no reason. There's a reason he's explaining what a low value woman is. I don't know what it is, right? Because I didn't watch the whole stream, so I don't know what it is. But there's a reason.
This isn't a stream. This is 7 minutes and 52 seconds of him talking out of his ass.
This is a clip of a stream.
No, it's not. This is him talking. Look, November 9th. Not a stream.
My boss does it all the time. There's 3-hour plus streams, and they clip up certain conversations within the stream and post them.
So you think this is taken out of context?
Yeah, well, there has to be a reason he's bringing this up. I don't know what it is.
This is unknown ratings. They literally said Kevin Samuels on the 4 signs of a low value woman. This is his video. This is what he said. I don't get why you're trying to act like this is taken out of. This is what he said. Plain and simple. Why can't you accept the negative things that he said?
He's not saying anything negative. He's just talking about the characteristic of a low. What's negative about speaking is what it is.
But he's
I don't
not.
know why. That was your assertion. Why is he saying this? That's what you introduced that into the conversation. Is why is he saying this?
Okay.
You said that. You said, why is he?
I did. Give me a second, sir. I get it. You're worked up. This is your best friend right here, Kevin Samuels. Right? No, what I said is, why is he assigning what he's assigning to women, right? Because it's not things that just women do, right? That's specifically what I said.
Generally speaking, these are the things women do.
Not just women, people.
Yeah, I don't know men who have some kind of spat with the women and they start talking about how trash they buy. That's not what we do.
Here we go with the anecdotal shit again.
I don't know,
no man. I don't know no broke bitches. I don't know no. Now you're being very anecdotal, and we need to be real. Be real. It's not about who you know.
I'm trying to minimize my experiences and what I know about these conversations. You try to make them untrue because they're anecdotal, but no, it is what it is.
What I'm trying to say here is that he's taking small statements, right, that are made maybe sometimes by some women, right, and trying to act like this is the signs of a low value woman. Any person who is insulting people is low value, right? If you have to insult people, your vibration is very low. That's not something that's specific to women. Do you see how he's not really saying anything about women?
That's why there's context before this. Why what led into this, we don't know. But yes, I agree. What he's saying is across the board with all women or with all humans.
Right. And look, 100. So this person who posted this video has 138,000 subscribers and 15,000 likes. Some bandits, and myself included, can sometimes barely even get 100 likes on a video. He got 15,000. So is it fair to say that this was the ideology that Kevin Samuels was, peddling in his career, his very short career online?
I don't agree.
Okay. I love how you have to look everywhere but at the screen to say that live, but it's fine. It's fine. It is what it is. We're really good. One day I'm gonna get you to be honest for real about who Kevin Samuels is. I don't know if it's gonna be today. Maybe when you're being jumped by me or talking to me and my friend, you will be a little bit more honest. But I just don't see how it's not obvious that he's assigning things to women that can be assigned to any gender. Like, that's obvious. If you insult people, you're probably a mean person, right? You're probably low value, low vibrational. Both of us can agree to that, whether you try to say it or not through your teeth. Both of us can agree to it.
I agree that these are characteristics of all humans.
Who are low value, right?
I agree.
Okay. Thank you much. How much time do you got?
I gotta go.
All right. Thank you for joining me. You've been a great, fun addition to the show for the last 2 hours and 47 minutes. So thank you very much for joining me. And I will see you on the flip side, okay?
Anytime, give me a heads up. I'll pull up.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
All right. Bye.
Have a good
day. Guys, now why do you guys think that it was so hard for a lot of people who listened to Kevin Samuels' message to accept that there's a lot of negative parts that were dragged and pulled and used in various ways to create a delusional mindset in men? I truly think that, from my perspective, I think that a lot of men know that Kevin Samuels did some level of pandering and playing around with how he spouted his message. We looked at it today, and I looked at it when I was going to go back and look at content of Kevin Samuels. I had to stop for a second because I was like, he uploads these videos where he's super legitimate and just giving regular advice, and then he'll do this thing where in his 3 to 4 hour streams he's like fluffing, he's going back and forth between problematic perspectives. It's just, this is how you allow your message to be co-opted, right? When you don't stand on anything, when there's no balance, when you're jumping around based off of different fleeting opinions that you have. All right. Now, this is a conversation that I want to have with a few more people. So I'm going to play just the rest of this particular video. And then I'm going to head out of here because I want to save some room for this conversation for a little bit later. But let's listen to Kevin Samuels talk about other qualities of a low value woman or person, and see if we can relate any of those to more than one gender, because a lot of Kevin's content has become weaponized against women, right? A lot of what he says and does, or said and did online, was, he presented it like he was just a relationship guru, but there's a lot of coded messaging, right? That is almost like a dog whistle to these certain types who go online looking for men who are going to affirm their disgruntled nature, right? The disgruntled feelings that they have towards women, for their standards, for not accepting them at their lowest, for rejecting them when they harm them and things like that. So I'm just going to play the last of this video, and then I'm going to get out of here and send you guys off to your next show. All right. Star Viper says, Kevin Samuels is the guy that did the thing a long time ago. It's not really that long ago. He was very popular in 2020, and then he, passed away only a few years after that. So I don't think he was that long ago. I also think, unfortunately, his message lives on, right? A lot of men today, a lot of power, not powerful, but a lot of men who are successful on YouTube, who have big followings, who have a platform, still follow a lot of his ideology. One of them being this dude, right? This video is from 2022, but this is probably one of his higher performing videos, right? So he probably still is very latched on to that ideology. So we're going to listen to these last 5 minutes, and then for real, I'm going to send you guys off.
Shaming tactics. Insults. And the insults can be your height, your weight, your money, where you look. Insults, they are more ready to give an insult than a compliment. Matter of fact, not only do they insult, they take pride in their insults. And if you can't take their insults, they shame you. Oh, look at you. You're too weak. Again, shaming tactics. You're supposed to be able to handle their insults. And see, low value women feel like people should be able to handle them. That's not working. No one wants to handle a woman. So if you use shame as a tactic to get your way, you may be low value. If you're often insulting to get your way, or to shut people up or shut people down, you may be low value. You notice the next one?
I mean, I'm going to agree. To some degree, this is obviously probably clipped in a video where he's talking directly at Black women, right? Because this is the stuff that he's saying have a very cultural context. Hey, Arsenal fan, he says, yo, welcome. I am about to end, so hopefully you're not here for any fun. But it's almost like, to some degree, you can kind of tell that he's responding to videos and things like that. But at the end of the day, he's using his feelings towards what people have said, or probably said towards him, because he said that a lot of times you'll hear them call you gay, right? You had Cynthia G and other big content creators calling him a bussy, right? Saying that he was caught in the bed with a glitch and things like that, which, till this day, we don't know if it was true or not, or it's up to you to believe. So I think a lot of what Kevin Samuels would do is take his message and weaponize it, right? If you know that there are people who are taking the wrong part of your message, and you get online and do a stream like this where you're talking about women and saying this is the signs that a woman is low value, and you're talking about a specific group, right? You know what you're doing. And I think Kevin knew what he was doing. He used his influence in a negative way. That was his only way to assert power. That's what I think. I think the videos that we can review will prove that, right? But a lot of times people will try to, when you're a fan of Kevin Samuels, they will try to pull from. There's people in my chat who like Kevin Samuels I didn't know, right? And I'm not judging them for it, but there's people who watch me who like Kevin Samuels because it's easy to just take the good things that he says and ignore all the negative. But when you view a person for who they are in totality, right, you can see that he was a charlatan, right? He wanted to portray himself on the outside like he was a man who taught men that they have to have values and respect and the money is secondary to their core values and respect for themselves and other people. No, he that's not what he did, right? A lot of the times he was online responding to comments about him being gay, pushing back on some of the ideology that he heard from black women or certain groups of black women, right? Right? I think that's who he was. He was a polarizing figure. But the fact that he's passed now and people want to act like he had some positive message that helped men, no. A lot of what people loved about him was how polarizing he was, right? How he was willing to go far and insult a woman to make his point, right? He would degrade a woman publicly for the clout and for people to say, wow, look, he's so honest. That was part of his persona. It was distasteful. I agree. But people like drama. Yeah, exactly. It's all about entertainment. But yeah, so anyways, guys, I'm gonna play a few more minutes of this video and then I really, really have to go, like for real have to leave. So I'm gonna play a few more minutes and then I will see you guys on the next one. Probably send you off with a song. If it's too late, I'll just click off after the video is done and I say goodbye. Max11 says, yo, Kevin was telling the truth and you know it. No, he wasn't. He was just talking. I've mentioned when he did tell the truth, when he was being honest, but like I said, a broken clock. You can be right twice a day and wrong the rest. So let's listen to this part of it and then I'm gonna send you guys off.
S and the I. Next thing, let's go with the G. The G is guilt. Guilt. Making someone feel guilty, especially in order to induce them to do something. Guilt, a manipulation. Your mama black is not only a shaming tactic, it's a guilting tactic. It's made to move you under control. See, these things are somewhat passive.
Guilting somebody for having respect for their race and not denigrating the race, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing to guilt somebody for, right? I think if my friend was over here every day talking about how terrible black men are, black women are, I would be like, let it go, move on, find something else to focus on, right? But he seems to be okay festering in that. He's okay with that.
And somewhat aggressive. Shame, insults, and guilt are ways to manipulate control, exert power. And it's not done in a physical way, it's done in an emotional way. Physical bruises and scars and attacks heal, emotional ones go on forever. Low value women specialize in low value, high potency shame, guilt, and insult attacks. They're good at them, guilting you. Oh, you're going out with your boys. Okay, well, oh, you must not love me. Guilt, meaning that if you don't do what you want them to do, you're a bad person. Four signs of a woman that's low value. See, a high value woman, by contrast, she's appealing and attractive. She has a comforting character. Her character, a high value woman, is comforting in her character. She's not going to shame you, insult you, or guilt you. She's going to lift and build people up. She's enthusiastic and exuberant about things. She's, like I said, she's liberating. Low value women are the opposite. They are burdensome. A high value woman is a feminine asset. A low value woman is a liability. And it typically is a masculine liability, but it can be a feminine liability. There are some feminine low value women. Make no mistake. And last, the last
Wow.
sign that a woman.
I never expected him to say that some low value women could still be feminine, right? It's almost like as if any quality that benefits a woman is negative to a man in his perspective, right? Now, I played entirely too much of this dust mite on my channel. So I'm going to zip him off the screen, and I'm going to send you guys off before I get annoyed, all right? Because he's just so dusty. He's just the worst. But I like to have conversations where we're trying to be open, right? And we're trying to understand what's going on. And Kevin was the beginning of male delusion, right? And when I say the beginning, I don't mean he started the male delusion, but he fed into it, right? A lot of his content was going on, doing these streams where he addressed what people were saying about him, where he addressed the messages that women had about him, the fact that women called him gay and things like that. A lot of those things clouded how his message was put out there. And because of that, people weaponize his message today, right? His message has been a weapon for many men, right? I was going to get into Tommy Sotomayor today, but obviously I planned a 17-hour show instead of a 2 to 3 hour show. But Tommy Sotomayor, same thing, right? He goes off of this idea that women have these unrealistic standards, and they everything they want is just money related. It's the same slow, dusty male talking point, and it's literally festered the delusion, right? The delusion among certain men is through the roof. And it's not because they believe truly that they deserve certain women, or they just want women to take less. They want women to accept less, right? And if women don't accept less, they're not willing to give anything. And so that's why you're seeing a lack of relationships and families and things like that being built, right? Because women know, they understand that a lot of men are operating off of lies and fear mongering and wanting to put women in their place. And Kevin was the beginning of that. So anyways, we're going to get into this conversation way, way deeper, right? I want to kind of have a triangular discussion on this where we talk to myself, who has I have a very direct perspective. My friend Zenobia is more willing to see all the different sides. And then we have Quentin. Right? We have Quentin, who agrees with Kevin Samuels and his sort of ideologies, who even attributes his growth as a man to Kevin Samuels. I'm not going to judge him for that, right? Because I do think your role models are all different types of people, not just your parents. But Kevin Samuels did not contribute anything to the internet, to the world of value. But a lot of people think he did, right? Because of certain ideologies that he pandered to. So anyways, I'm going to send you guys off, and we'll get into the topic on another day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. I sure did. Right when I thought about inviting Quentin to the show, I was like, this will be a nice balance, and I think it worked out just what I was picturing. So if you guys want to enjoy more conversations like this with more polarizing figures, about more polarizing figures, make sure you guys comment in the comment section for me when this video ends. Like, share, subscribe, send me recommendations to my email, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.